For now, I'm going to say karibuni sana, have a seat, say hello to the person next to you, and ask them how they are embracing equity. Now, before the guest of honor comes, one of the things that I'd like us to do is get to know each other. So, one, again, good morning. Okay, that was horrible. I can imagine it's too early for some. Good morning. Better, we're getting somewhere, you know, on a day when we're celebrating women, it's a celebration. And all that has been done to push forward gender equality, but at this point, gender equity in particular. Good morning. Sasa. What you're going to do is look for the person that's sitting next to you. I'm hoping it's not standing. The person sitting next to you, say good morning. Get to know the person sitting next to you. How are you doing? Ask them about their day. It's International Women's Day. How are they feeling about it? Yeah, network. Hopefully it's somebody you did not come with. If you're sitting next to two people that you came with, find somebody else. And with that, we're going to keep networking as we wait for our guest of honor. Karibuni sana. Hello. Habari za asubuhi. Good morning on this beautiful International Women's Day. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. May I please ask you to take your seats. Karibuni, 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 karibuni. Once again, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Khalil Mbowe, and I will be your host for today. Before we start, I would like to take this moment to notice and acknowledge the presence of our guest of honor, who is here on behalf of the Minister of Investment, Industry and Trade, Honorable Dr. Ashatu Kijadu. We have with us the Director General of TAN Trade, Ms. Latifa Hamis. Please do give her a hand of applause. With us, we also have the Acting Chief Executive Officer for the Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange, Ms. Mary Mniwasa. Please also give her a round of applause. We also have with us the Resident Coordinator for the United Nations, Zlatan Mishik. And representing the Global Compact Network Tanzania on behalf of the Board Chair is a board member, Ms. Susan Domba Doran. Karibu sana. And most especially, I'd like to ask you to give yourselves a round of applause for being here on this really important day, celebrating really important work, and about to have inspirational and transformational conversations. I'm going to ask you to turn to your neighbor. This is that moment where the host gets to do something because they have the mic. I'm going to ask you to turn to your neighbor and say, Happy International Women's Day. Do not get weirded out because they're a man. You can also tell it to them. Because I see some having a problem telling the men that. Also tell them, International Women's Day, it matters to us all. And right before we go into it, I'm going to ask you to put your right hand up. I'm going to ask you to put your left hand up. And then I'm going to ask you to give yourself a hug. There you go. And let's all say embracing equity. Okay, we're going to do that a little bit faster all together. Let's go into it. Right hand, left hand, embracing equity. Okay, now as a whole, all right? That was great practice. So 1, 2, 3. A little bit louder like we mean it. Let's go. Wonderful. Give yourselves a round of applause. I'm not going to go so much into what it means because I do know, even though we know that our theme for this year is around embracing equity, a lot of people are asking themselves, what does it actually truly mean? Tunamaanisha nini tunavyosema embracing equity? We have an incredible round of speakers who are going to share opening remarks. And in their opening remarks, tuangalie, let's learn something, let's explore what it truly means. And hopefully we're going to have questions and insightful conversations right after. What does embracing equity really mean? And what I'm hoping that we're going to do today is not just be here to attend a glamorously, beautifully decorated event, to be here at the Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange so you can schmooze with money. It feels money, eh? But we're here to really have a conversation about change. Most of the time, these conversations feel monotonous. We can have them over and over again. And whenever we're talking about International Women's Day, every single year might feel the same. However, I'm hoping that we can inspire one another and be challenged to really come out of here to truly think about the ways we can trigger change in our spaces of influence, from our homes to our workplaces, and even to the spaces that we normally inhabit through the day. And with that, I'm just going to ask you all to close your eyes. Let's close your eyes. And I'm going to ask you to truly reflect. Tafunga macho na nitaomba uanze kufikiria siku ya leo inamaanisha nini kwako? What does the International Women's Day really mean to you? Tunavozungumzia kumsherehekea mwanamke, when we talk about celebrating a woman, tunavozungumzia kusherehekea vitu vyote vilivyofanyika mpaka kutufikisha hapa leo, when you talk about all that has been done to get us here today, what does that mean to you? And more so, what can you do to take it one step further? I'm going to ask you to open your eyes. I'm going to ask you to have that reflection as we converse, as we listen, so that we are proactive through it all. So by the time we leave here, mwaka kesho tunaweza kuja tukakumbuka kwamba one way or the other trigger great change at the Ring the Bell for Gender Equality event 2023. Tukifika pa 2024, numbers itakuwa and the stats will tell a completely different story. With that, I'm going to ask you to once again give yourselves a round of applause as I prepare to invite our next speaker. This is giving yourself a round of applause. Thank you for being a change maker. To start us off, I'd like to invite to the stage the Acting Chief Executive Officer for the Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange, Ms. Mary Mniwasa. Makofi kwake tafadhali.
Madam Latifa Hamis, Director General TanTrade, Mr. Zatan Milsik, UN Resident Coordinator, Ms. Charlene Buluguna, Country Representative UNICEF, Ms. Hodan Adu, UN Women Country Representative, Mr. Simon Shayo, UN Global Compact Network Board Chairman, Mr. Frank Ajlor, IFC Tanzania Resident Representative, Ms. Marcia Makatayambi, Executive Director, UN Global Compact, Ms. Susanna Ndomba, Global Network Representative, distinguished panelists, distinguished members of the media fraternity, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is with great honor that I welcome you all to DSC Ring the Bell for Gender Equality as we celebrate the International Women's Day. Happy International Women's Day, everyone. Let me also extend a special welcome and appreciation to Madam Latifa Hamis, TanTrade's DG, who has accepted to represent Honorable Ashatu Kijaji, Minister for Investment, Trade and Industry, who could not be with us this morning due to some other equally important national duties. Ladies and gentlemen, DSC today joins other more than 60 stock exchanges across the world under the UN Sustainable Stock Exchanges and the World Federation of Exchanges to ring the bell for gender equality in celebrating the International Women's Day. This special event is a partnership. It is a partnership between the UN Sustainable Stock Exchanges Initiative, the UN Women, the UN Global Compact, the UN Global Compact Network Tanzania, the International Finance Corporation, the World Federation of Exchanges, with the support of Stanbic Bank Tanzania and TTCL PESA. Ladies and gentlemen, gender inequality remains a significant challenge in the world, and while some progress has been made in some areas, there's still a long way to go. One area where gender inequality is particularly pronounced is the financial sector. Despite some progress that has been made in the country in recent years, women are still significantly underrepresented in the financial sector in senior roles. According to a report by IFC, a report of 2020, women in Tanzania hold only 21% in senior management positions and board of directors, and only 6% in executive positions in commercial banks. For the case of DSC, our board of directors, our women hold only 14%. We are still very, very low. This a lack of diversity is not only just an issue of fairness, but it's a matter of economic efficiency. Research shows that companies with more diverse management teams and board of directors tend to perform better financially. This suggests that improving gender diversity in financial sector and even other sectors could have a positive impact on the overall economy. So what should be done to address this issue? One of the solutions is to use innovation and technology to create more opportunities for women in the financial sector as well as other sectors. For the case of stock exchange, for instance, innovation and technology can help achieve gender equality by improving data collection and reporting, providing online training on stock exchange operations, trading and investment, enabling flexible work arrangements, and supporting diversity in inclusive initiatives. By leveraging these tools, we can create more equitable and inclusive industry that benefits everyone. That's the main purpose of today's event, apart from generally celebrating the International Women's Day, is to raise awareness about the importance of innovation and technology in achieving gender equality. In that regard, we have a panel today, and the panel will explore the critical need to address gender inequalities, highlighting best practices and lessons from technology and innovation initiatives that have been implemented in this country. DSC is and will continue to engage and make commitments to improve gender equality by improving diversity in senior management and board of directors, develop gender-friendly policies, embrace technology to enable more women participate in stock exchange activities and even listed securities. With that said, I would like to thank you all once again by attending this special event, and let us continue to embrace our partnership as we engage even more on these important matters for mutual development. Thank you and welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you for bringing up the component of innovation and technology and how, in one way or the other, it can definitely usher in change into women's representation in the financial markets, but at the same time, also ushering in our theme, Digital for International Women's Day 2023. I won't speak much into it. I'm going to ask you to give the next speaker a round of applause. This is none other than United Nations Resident Coordinator, Zlatan Milshek. Karibu sana. I'm going to also ask, I do know this is a great opportunity to exercise in the morning, but just for safety, if we could also use that staircase.
Certainly, certainly. Honorable guest of honor, representatives of the partners of the Ring the Bell for Gender Equality, private sector leaders, ladies and gentlemen, Mabibi na mabana, habari za asubuhi, good morning. It's an honor for me today to join in this celebration of International Women's Day at stock exchanges across the world, focusing on the theme innovation and technology for gender equality. This is the 6th year that the Dar Stock Exchange is holding such event to raise awareness of the importance of the role of businesses in advancing gender equality. I congratulate the Dar Stock Exchange and its partners who have been involved in the organization of this event for your commitment in making gender equality a private sector priority. International Women's Day theme this year points to how critical technology and innovation is to ensure progress towards the Sustainable Development Goals, Agenda 2030, as we know it. Innovation and digitalization have a potential to create millions of decent jobs for women that would then put them on an equal footing with the men to achieve sustainable, inclusive growth. Yet, inequalities in digital skills and access continue to persist, leaving women and girls behind. Although studies indicate that 75% of the jobs around the world will be related to science, technology, engineering, and maths by 2050, women remain a minority in these so-called STEM careers. In Tanzania, for example, only 1 in 5 science and engineering professionals are women. A paradigm shift is required to bridge this digital gender gap, to improve safer and affordable access to digital tools, and to guarantee women's full participation. This shift requires human rights, gender equality, inclusion, and innovation to be placed at the center of the design, skills development, and utilization of digital skills and services. The United Nations and the Ring the Bell partners' collaboration with stock exchanges around the world is a key initiative for the advancement of gender equality and sustainable development in the private sector. Nearly 100 exchanges and central counterparty clearing houses are taking part this year, from only 7-8 years ago. But our job only starts here. Increased investments are required for all stakeholders to generate positive, measurable impact on the well-being of women, girls, and of broader communities. We also need clear standards and improved collection and reporting of disaggregated data. One of the significant ways in which the private sector can set the bar to contribute to the gender equality agenda is to sign onto the global UN initiative, the Women's Empowerment Principles. WEPs are a set of 7 principles against which companies can analyze their current initiatives and practices and then streamline them to create inclusive, gender-equal workplaces that promote respect for diversity. Informed by real-life business practices, the WEPs, or Women's Empowerment Principles, include high-level leadership for gender equality, equal, fair treatment for women and men at work, health, safety, and well-being of all women and men employed, education, training, professional development of women, business development and marketing that empower women, equality through community initiatives and advocacy, and regular monitoring and reporting of the progress. So far, over 2,000 companies around the world have committed for implementing the WEPs, so I urge you all, in your own spheres of influence and capacities, to advocate for more to follow suit. Recent estimates show that it will take us 300 years, I repeat, 300 years, to reach gender equality with the current speed of progress. This would mean that gender equality would not happen for several generations to come. We cannot accept this, and we must urgently take further action to speed up progress. Joint efforts are required, for the advancement of gender equality and to ensure that technology and innovation equally and meaningfully benefit girls and women. The United Nations remains your ally in driving this progress, and we look forward to partnering with you to achieve our joint aspirations in the coming months and years. Happy International Women's Day. Asante sana. Thank you. I must go this way.
Thank you very much. That was interesting as well. We know yoga must be to speak to there. And with that, I just want to highlight something that you said. Most of the times we hear this quote, 300 years to reach, it will take 300 years to reach gender equality with the current speed of progress. And one of the things that I normally like to do is ask people, what does that mean again to you? Because if we do not personalize it and find a way to empathize with that statement, it's very hard to relate to what it actually means. That means our children will exist in a gender unequal world. That means their children will exist in a gender unequal world. That means their children's children will exist in a gender unequal world. Meaning, we're not doing what it takes to ensure that the world is gender equal for the generations that come after us. So the biggest question is, when your great-grandchild looks back, can they truly say that my great-grandmother, grandfather did 1, 2, 3 to make the world a better place for me? If that's a yes, well done. If that's a no, we have work to do. If that's a maybe, we have work to do. Generally, we do have work to do. Thank you very much for that reminder. And with that, without further ado, I'd like to bring to the stage the country representative for the International Finance Corporation, Mr. Frank Agilore. Karibu sana. A hand of applause to him, tafadhali.
As you can see, I'm an investment guy. I follow due process. Thank you so much. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me also welcome the Acting Chief Executive, Mary Mewasa, Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange, our host for the day. United Nations Resident Representative, Mr. Zatlan Milis, who is a friend of mine. The Global Compact Network Tanzania Board of Chairman represent today Suzanne Ndoma Daran. And then, ladies and gentlemen, the head of UN Women, and also my colleagues who have worked 24 hours, if not more, for me to go through this 4-minute speech. Please recognize them. Ati, please stand up. And Anna. Ati came from Kenya to make sure that this 4-minute speech is well written. Look, today is a serious day, okay? I'm pleased to give this remark on behalf of International Finance Corporation. For folks who don't know who IFC is, it's deliberate. We're part of the World Bank Group, and our role is to ensure that the private sector have access to financing. Now, today's event essentially is to bring more awareness into how we work together to ensure that women are part and parcel of the developmental goals of the United Nations. IFC, as usual, we've been part of this for so many years. We continue to be committed to this. I'll just go straight to the point. Technology is shaping the development world today, as we know it. Everybody, I'm sure, has an iPhone or a Samsung or one of those technology. Those phones used to pack a lot of things in them. The power of those phones is bigger than the power of a computer like 20 years ago. And we can hold it in our hands. That gives us incredible access to information, access to activities that we can never imagine before. So I think we have a work to do ahead of us. For example, in Tanzania, despite the progress we've made today, internet penetration, mobile phone ownership is still less than 9%. Don't ask me where that figure came from. And only 17% of women are connected to the internet, compared to 35% of men. Just 17%. I mean, we all are city folks, right? We are all connected. But if you look at Tanzania, 61 million people, majority of them are in rural communities. Access to telephone, access to internet is still a challenge. Particularly if I'm from the village. If you are living in this area, if you're from the village, I've been to somewhere in the south where we couldn't connect to internet, and it's a city. So that gives us an expression of how much more we need to do to make sure that technology and access to internet is accessible to everyone. E-commerce, for example, has taken off significantly. Most businesses are done on e-commerce platform, as we know. We still find a lot of businesses are not connected, and most of those businesses are owned by women. Like my friend Zalan mentioned, STEM education, men are still significantly dominant. Only less than 32% of those educations are accessible to women. So, and if you're going to participate in the development of the world, in development of economics going forward, access to education, particularly science, technology education, is very important. Then the adoption of technology also is very, very important. We still find that women are lagging behind in that adoption of technology. In terms of skills, the same story, access to skills, learning, training opportunity. We need to increase that for women to be able to have access to those technological platforms. There are opportunities that we can leverage to accelerate women's participation in the space of innovation and technology. IFC, for example, we've studied that e-commerce can generate roughly about $15 billion, not in Tanzania, globally, for Africa. And at the speed that we're progressing, we are losing that value almost on a yearly basis if women are not plugged in and connected to the entire economic space. Another example that we're really proud to belong to is the step taken by one of the leading banks of issuing a gender bond, Jeziri bond. I'm sure a lot of us are aware of that. I think we should give them a round of applause. I was on this stage, maybe in another room, I'm sure in another room, to give a speech about how IFC is so excited about that bond. Incidentally, that day I said something. Tanzania was the first country in Africa to issue a gender bond. The Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange, the first stock exchange to issue a gender bond. So that Tanzania, you're in a leadership position, and I'm saying that passionately. So keep that position, keep that going. Also, we found that in reducing gender gap, technology and accelerating digital literacy among women are very key. I think a lot of work needs to be done. I won't go into a lot of statistics and information I've given to me, but in that area, that's where you make the change. If women are not being educated, they're not having access to good quality information, we will make that change. And I think giving that access is very important. Gender inclusion in digital and tech space cannot be addressed by one organization or by one body. It's a responsibility of all of us, particularly we who are represented here today. And we must take that step, one step after the other, and we are able to bring others along. We believe that private sector opportunity mitigated constraint attract private sector in critical enabling environment. Particularly for IFC, is access to finance. That is where we see ourselves, our space. I'll give you a short example. We heard, I'm not going to mention names or mention anyone, that it's still difficult for a woman to access a loan and then tell the family that I have access to loan. It's difficult for a woman to own a house and be able to tell somebody in the house, I'm going to tell whether it's a man or a woman will say. It's difficult for a woman to buy a house and then tell somebody in the house that, I've just bought a house, because somebody's going to get unhappy. I don't know whether it's true, but I'm sure you can tell us that. So that is not acceptable in today's world. Equal to information, equal access to information, to finance, and to ownership of assets should not be a threat to anyone. It's certainly not a threat to me. In closing, I want to emphasize IFC's commitment to investing in women leadership and entrepreneurship space. The study we did last year, which someone repeated, shows that we are committed to the process. And in fact, in reality, we're taking additional steps. I will not jump the gun. My colleagues said they are not just here for nothing. They're here to put some programs in place, which at the right time, by the right personality in the country, it will be announced, and we hope that will be soon. And so I want to thank everyone for coming. It's a huge opportunity, and I think we have a lot of work ahead of us. Thank you. Karibu sana. Asante sana.
Those who own houses in the audience started squirming, thinking about, do you know that it is them? But it's one of those things that can be shocking, but that's a reality. That some things need to remain ingenuous in the homes for peace to prevail. And those are some of the realities that we're in. When we talk about access, what do we mean? When we talk about connection, not just access to a mobile phone, but to the internet, what does it truly mean when we're talking about the social cultural context on ground? So thank you for bringing that up and for reminding us that Tanzania doesn't look like this. That when we're thinking about equity, we need to think beyond the boxes or the echo chambers where we find ourselves in. So, and I'm just going to ask you to give him another round of applause for that challenge and that pinch reminder. I'm going to ask that we get ready to bring in the next speaker with a generous round of applause as well. Now, this is a board member from a network that I'm personally very passionate about, as the incredible work that they're doing to make sure that sustainability, of course, together in line with also what DSEs is doing, but sustainability is a focal point, concentrated space of target for the private sector. This is none other than the Global Compact Network Tanzania. The entire team has done impeccable work in this previous years. I'd just like to bring to the stage the board member, Susan Ndomba Doran, who will be speaking on behalf of the chairperson, the board chair. Karibu sana. Naomba ruhusa kuomba makofi ya pili kwa sababu hayo yalikuwa kichoyo kidogo. There we go.
Thank you very much. Ms. Latifa Hamis, the Director General of TanTrade, representing today the Minister of Industry and Trade, Mr. Zaltan Milsik, UN Residence Coordinator. I see Madam Hodan Adu, the UN Women Representative. Habari asubuhi, Madam. Ms. Shalene Bahuguna, Country Representative for UNICEF. Madam Mary Muniwasa, Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange, Acting Chief Executive Officer and Chief Legal Counsel. Mr. Frank Ajlo, International Finance Corporation Country Representative. Masha Yambi, Executive Director, UN Global Compact. Invited guests, member of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Na wasalimu kwa jina la Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania. Asante sana. I bring you greetings from the chairperson of the UN Global Compact, Mr. Simon Shayo. He could not be here today, hence I'm delivering the speech on his behalf with my own wordings in it. Yeah, women empowerment. A very warm welcome for the 2023 commemoration of International Women's Day, Ring the Bell. Along with colleagues from the UN Women, International Finance Corporation, and the Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange, we welcome you to this important session and thank you for great attendance. Special appreciation to the Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange for hosting us today, Mary, again for all the other years, but special appreciation as well to the local chapter of the UN Global Compact for leading the in-country team, along with our partners, Stanbic Bank. Today we have Stanbic Bank, T-Pesa of TTCL, and the other people that were around who have made this possible this morning. We are gathered here to celebrate the achievement of women and girls across the country and beyond. This event brings together businesses aspiring for gender equality. The world is changing at an unprecedented pace, and we are witnessing a shift towards a more equitable and inclusive society. However, despite these positive changes, gender inequality still persists in many parts of the world. Women continue to face discrimination and are often denied access to education, employment, and leadership positions. Digital technology is still a fundamental force for change in this century. It is reshaping economies, governments, and impacting every aspect of development. Some 90% of new jobs worldwide require digital skills, but 49% of the world still lacks internet access, mostly developing countries and mostly women. And in recent years, we have seen the rise of innovative technologies such as artificial intelligence, big data, and the Internet of Things. We have potential to revolutionize the way we live, work, and interact with each other. But for women, we can use these technologies to bring changes into our own economies as well. Technology has the power to transform our societies and create new opportunities for individuals, including women. Girls and women often face gender-based restrictions on the use of information and communication technology. Digital technologies can enhance women's access to finance. Technology-enabled healthcare that can also improve health outcomes. E-commerce and technology-based businesses offer women more flexibility, helping them to manage home responsibilities along paid work. Jamani, tuna zile boda zetu. We have the bodas, yeah, delivering things. Have you ever imagined the chain that you are making just by having a boda coming to your household, or just calling and say, can you pick up my parcel from one space to another? You have not even met the person who is selling the goods, but a transaction has been done just by a boda. So you can imagine what are we creating by using technology on simple and everyday use. That is actually what we are trying to communicate. If women can tap the full power of digital technologies, vital new opportunities open not just for women, but for the entire communities and societies. We all access our mobile phones and send money everywhere. We can pay our bills. We paid Dawasa and Luku and all that. We are all transacting. Here, actually, probably this morning, somebody has done that. That's technology, and that's powerful for women as well. Gender equality is not just a basic human right. It is critical to development progress, where women and girls can realize their rights and aspirations. Growth is faster and prosperity comes quicker. This is why advancing the gender equality, it is the heart of the Sustainable Development Goals and Tanzania Vision for 2030. Ladies and gentlemen, to address this challenge, we need to encourage more women and girls to pursue careers in STEM. We can do this by providing them with access to high-quality education and training programs, by creating more opportunities for them. But also, without the eco-inclusion of half the world's talent, we will not be able to deliver on the promise of the fourth industrial revolution. While there has been much debate among closing the gender gap and improving the environment for current and future generations, this has yet to be borne out in the data. The USAWA Special Report under Global Compact Network will be launched a few months to come to close this data gap. This initiative will also involve the ICT element. Another area where technology can play a significant role in promoting gender equality is in addressing the gender-based violence. Technology can be used to prevent and respond to this type of violence. For example, having a mobile app which can be developed to provide women with information about their rights and available resources. Another important where technology can make a difference is in education. Online courses and digital learning platforms that can make education more accessible to women who might otherwise be unable to attend school due to social or economic barriers. In this, the Global Compact Network is walking the talk where through target gender equality programs is promoting gender equality and women empowerment in the workplace. In order to achieve, we need a combined effort, government and private sector all together. As I conclude, I would like to take this opportunity to call every company and businesses to ensure that they don't miss a chance to report and showcase their commitment in championing the SDGs through voluntary national review, VNR, that the Global Compact Network continue to be trusted and mandated to take a lead on voluntary national review for 2023 for the private sector. And on this, we are working with the Ministry of Finance and Planning to support on how effectively Tanzania private sector is delivering the sustainable development goals that underpin the 2020-30 agenda for transformational change. The VNR report is due to be delivered to the United Nations in New York in July 2023. In facilitating this efficiently, UN Global Compact Network developed a tool which allows businesses to interact quickly and systematically to showcase their cases on SDGs, including SDG goal number 5. By joining us in this endeavor, you'll not only be helping to create a sustainable future for generations to come, but also inspire others to follow into your footsteps. Thank you very much for your kind listening.
Thank you very much. Another round of applause to Ms. Suzanne. Great reminders there in how technology can make a difference in every sector. And now before I call to the stage our esteemed guest of honor, I'd just like to share 4 stories very quickly. One, part of the work that I do in my daily life is working within the health sector, and we're looking at how technology can trigger change in that space. And one of the things that we reflect on is how can technology help a mother in a remote, or actually also in town. I don't know how many know that right now we have a measles rubella outbreak in Tanzania. And it's basically one of the reasons that we actually have these outbreaks is mothers do not remember to take their children to the clinic for a vaccine at month 18. So for the second dose of measles rubella, we actually have a massive chunk of the population missing out, and hence we have a massive outbreak right now. But could that have been solved by just a simple reminder on a feature phone that it is time to take your child to the clinic, right? In many communities that we have right now, we have what we call happening, and this is mostly some of our work in Arusha, Longido, Masaini. Women are literally not allowed to use smartphones or any phone. Can we guess why? Because having a smartphone means you are promiscuous. Having a phone means you are promiscuous. And so it's linked to promiscuity. As much as we talk about access, we also have to think about behavioral change, mental models, and the work that we need to shift mindsets in our communities. One of the things that happens in those communities, for any women who actually have massive chunks of population, they actually have the funds to afford a feature phone. So they do have the feature phone, but they are not allowed to charge the phone. They are only allowed to charge the phone when Baba somebody is going to town. So what they do is I call this crowd charging. So you collect the phone so Baba somebody can go to town to charge the phone for you. When the phone is out of charge, you're not allowed to use it until Baba so-and-so determines that it is time to now use the phone. This is context. Access to opportunities, reminders for prenatal visits, and so on and so forth. There's a lot that we need to think about. One last story. I remember my team and I, we were doing a research in schools here in Tanzania, here in Dar es Salaam, in Kinondoni, in international schools, and one of we call them the academic masters. In a candid conversation, he told somebody from my team, he said, it's very interesting how, and I'll say it in Swahili then translate. Mnatuitaita kwenye shughuli zenu, mnazungumzia teknolojia, sayansi, tuwafundishe watoto wa kike, lakini akitoka shule anaenda kuolewa tu. Mimi mtoto wa kike hapa shuleni siwezi kumsaidia au encourage asome masomo ya sayansi. Hii ilikuwa 2022. We spoke to a teacher, an academic master in an international school, very well-to-do, educated man. And he said that you invite us to forum to talk about the importance of science and technology, insisting on STEM, access to STEM subjects, quality STEM education for young girls. But we know that, you know, once she leaves, she's going to get married anyway. So as a teacher, it is not in Tanzania, it is not in the girl's favor for me to encourage her to study STEM subjects. So there is no way I can insist and encourage my team to actually take this on and implement it in the school. However, if you invite us to conferences, we know exactly what to say, so we'll tell you what you want to hear. And with that, these are all reflection points of what's actually happening within our communities. So just triggering to think about widely about the need for social behavioral change and change in mental models as we're thinking about digital transformation, as we're thinking about innovation, access to STEM education for girls. I did not mean to okay, shake it off. Okay, let's everybody just shake it off, shake it off, shake it off. Okay, here we go, here we go, here we go. But I'm gonna also ask you to give yourselves a round of applause because everybody here is working to change that reality, because that is the reality that we are all here to transform. And with that, I'm going to ask for the esteemed honor of bringing to the stage our guest of honor for today, none other than the Director General for TanTrade, Ms. Latifa Hamis, who is here on behalf of the Minister for Investment, Industry and Trade, Honorable Ashatu Kijaju. A massive round of applause, tafadhali.
Good morning, everyone. Nawasalimu kwa jina la Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania. Asanteni sana. Mr. Zlatan Marsik, UN Resident Coordinator. Ms. Hodan Odu, UN Women Country Representative. Mr. Simon Shayo, UN Global Compact Network Tanzania, Board Chair. Mr. Frank Agiole, Resident Representative. Mary Mniwasa, Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange, my beloved colleague, distinguished guest, and Ms. Suzanne Domba, my dear friend, Representative Global Network, Ms. Charlene Bahuguna, UNICEF Country Representative, my dear sister, Lulu Mkude, TTCLT PESA Manager, yes. I'm honored to represent Dr. Ashatu Kijaju, the Minister of Industry and Trade, United Republic of Tanzania. I would like to appreciate the country Ring the Bell team that is comprised Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange, DSC, Global Compact Network Tanzania, International Finance Corporation, and UN Women. And I'm aware this time you are reached out and brought to the table Stanbic Bank and TTCL PESA. This is a commendable effort, hereby availing opportunity to me and everyone in the room to participate in raising the voice through a well-organized event. We are going to ring the bell and for gender equality. Personally, for obvious reasons, I feel obliged to have an opportunity to speak on this International Women's Day today, this year. Ladies and gentlemen, gender equality is a problem that affects not only women, but our entire society. Women have an important partner in the family and society in general. In achieving economic growth and social progress, we must include women. We all understand that. So enough and more education for women is very important to promote sustainability of a society and everything in the nation. Our country, Tanzania, is inclusive and promotes gender equality in all levels. We witness good practices by Our Excellency, President of United Republic of Tanzania, Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan. We are lucky and proud of her. Ladies and gentlemen, the government of United Republic of Tanzania has been working in partnership with the UN Global Compact and other UN agencies with the target of achieving the 17th United Sustainable Development Goals since were launched on 25th September 2015, when world leaders came together in New York, United States, in support of this noble idea. The SDGs are global wake-up for call for action, among others, and poverty, protect the planet Earth, and ensure all human beings enjoy peace and prosperity. These goals are aimed to address the interconnected element of sustainable development, that is economic growth, social inclusion, and environmental protection. As 2023 slogans goes, digital innovation and technology for gender equality. Innovation and technology have the potential to play a significant role in progress and promoting gender equality. For instance, innovation and technology can contribute to achieving this goal by 5 elements for me. Closing the digital gap, women are often underrepresented in the technology sector and have less access to technology than men. By bridging the digital divide and ensuring equal access to technology, we can help women gain skills and knowledge they need to participate fully in digital economy. And second, fostering entrepreneurship, innovation and technology can empower women to start and grow their own business, allowing them to become financially independent and contribute to their communities and economy. The third is addressing gender-based violence. Technology can be used to develop innovative solutions to combat gender-based violence, such as an app that provides support to survivors or help them to support incident abuse, the same as we use to transport, as we have been here, the example here. So addressing gender-based violence, technology also can be used like that, to develop the app for that purpose. And the fourth, improving healthcare technology can help improve access healthcare for women, especially in remote or under-reserved area. For example, telemedicine can provide women with access to medical care and advice, while wearable and other health technology can help women monitor their health and well-being. And the fifth is advancing education. Technology can provide education opportunities for women, especially those who face barriers to accessing traditional education. As our moderator here, she has mentioned us a best example to take away. Online courses and e-learning platform can help women gain new skills and knowledge and advance their careers. Thus, innovation and technology can play a vital role in promoting gender equality by addressing the unique challenge that women face. By leveraging these tools, we can create a more equitable and inclusive society for everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, the government by itself cannot achieve all that. This is where the UN Global Compact Network, Tanzania International, and the International Financial Corporation and other stakeholders plays a very crucial role. In this regard, let me express my sincere gratitude to organizer of this event for inviting stakeholders here from all sectors to share experience and insight regarding these noble initiatives. I believe this is why today we have gathered here in Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange. As you may know, a stock exchange is symbolized interjection between public and private sector cooperation. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate the fact that this effort by themselves may not be enough to address the challenge of gender equality gap, but this is really needed to build awareness and discrimination, and the tool that can be used to improve gender equality, measuring gender equality, is also important, hence necessity of having reporting standards, such those being considered by DSE, one side, and GC&T on the other side through initiatives like cooperative wellness NGO program, as well as USAWA special report. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to also reminding all of you that the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development encourage member states to conduct regular and inclusive review of progress at the national and sub-national level, known as Voluntary National Review, VNRNs, aims to share experience, strengthening policy and institution, and mobilize multi-stakeholder support partnership. The GC&T continues to be trusted and mandated to take a lead on Voluntary National Review 2023 for the private sector, where they managed to develop a tool which will be used to gather all insight-related SDGs from private sector. It is the government call to join in this agenda, where you will not only be helping to create sustainable future for generation to come, but also inspire others to follow in your footsteps. The coming high-level political forum will convene from 17th to 20th July this year under the auspices of UN Economic and Social Council, ECOSOC. Tanzania will present its status in implementation of 2030 Agenda and the SDGs. Ladies and gentlemen, let me conclude my remarks by thanking DSE, Global Compact Network Tanzania, and other stakeholders for inviting me in this occasion. And I look forward to ringing the bell for gender equality by hope, and ringing the bell today will take us much closer achieving the sustainable development goals as far as gender equality and empowering all women and girls in Tanzania and world is concerned. Mungu ibariki Tanzania. Asanteni sana kwa kunisikiliza.
We are here to work together to address the unique challenges women face. Back to that point of embracing equity. What do we mean by unique challenges? What do we mean by embracing equity? Again, I won't go so much into it. I'm hoping it will be touched on somewhere in terms of what we mean by embracing equity as we talk about addressing the unique challenges women face. But what I'm going to ask you to do, I'm going to ask us to, one more time, but we're going to stand up as we do that. Hello, yes. When you're making a commitment, it feels different when you're up. It's sort of like we're going to war. You can't war on a chair. You can't war on the floor. Are we ready? Tuko tayari? Okay. All right. Okay, so we're going to do one round, especially for our guests who've just come in. We're going to do right hand, left hand. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. We shall get there. Reminders. Okay, right hand, left hand, embracing equity. All right, let's go. Okay, so you don't have to say the right hand, left hand, just the embracing equity. Okay, so this is more the action. All right, okay, let's flex, get into it. I do know people started early this morning, probably did not get that workout in. So let's go into it. Embracing equity. And with that, I'm going to ask you to just take your phone out. Take your phone out. Right, here we are. You have to get permission from the person standing next to you, though. All right, so you're going to go to your camera, perhaps open up a video, and then you're going to find somebody next to you and you're going to do a selfie. For instance, hello, Kaka. Please come and he for she with me. All right, so we're going to take a video and we're going to say embracing equity. So 1, 2, 3. All right. So you're going to say embracing equity, and what you're going to do as we're sitting down, what you're hopefully going to do is you're going to go to your social media pages and make sure that everybody who's not here is engaged in the conversation. All right, let's have a seat. Beautiful videos, beautiful photos. Embracing equity. Let's make sure everybody in our circles of influence get to remember embracing equity. All right. Now let's embrace equity on our chairs. All right, so do post that on your social media page, should it be Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and what you're going to do is you're going to use the following hashtags. You're going to use Ring the Bell 2023 or hashtag DigitALL. Digit, small letters, all, capital, or you're going to use gender equality for, in terms of the actual number, digital. Gender equality for digital. So the hashtags are Ring the Bell 2023, DigitALL, all being all caps, and gender equality for digital. Let's combine efforts with the entire global community that's ringing the bell this morning. And with that, I'm going to invite the next round of speakers. We've got a little bit of learning to do, great inspiration to happen. We're going to have two impeccable speakers set the stage for our panel conversation this morning. To start us off is going to be Ms. Bhakti Shah, who is the founder and CEO of Impact Afia. She's going to come to speak to us about a topic she will also introduce. A massive round of applause to Ms. Bhakti Shah, who has been working tirelessly for years, her and her team, to imagine a better space, a better workplace for women and for all. Karibu sana, Ms. Bhakti Shah.
Presentation. Hi, a very good morning to all of you. And it is an absolute pleasure to be here. And it is an honor to be here this morning. Thank you for the introduction as well. And I basically run a company, Impact Afia. It is almost 10 years old now. And our primary focus is employee well-being, corporate wellness. And I see some of the organizations that we work with over here as well. So it is a pleasure to work with you all. Over the last 10 years, it has really taught us a lot as to what really are the needs, what are the gaps when it comes to employee well-being. And we have been discussing with Global Compact Network of Tanzania as to what can we do in this space. And we have come up with a very exciting project, and this is what I'm going to be introducing today. Is the presentation on? Okay, all right, great. Is somebody navigating? They are there. Okay, so I'll say next. Okay. Can we go to the next slide, please? Next slide. There, okay. All right, oh, it is pretty wide, but I'm sure that's okay. All right. So as we talk about women empowerment, as we talk about women breaking the glass ceiling, as we talk about having more and more women leaders, there is a very interesting phenomenon that is taking place right now in the corporate world as well as in the political world in other countries. And I think 2022 and 23 has been a wake-up call. A recent McKinsey report on women in the workplace 2022 basically, thank you, basically talked about the great breakup. This is what this terminology is all about, the great breakup. And I'm sure we are all aware of the New Zealand Prime Minister, Jacinda Ardern, who recently announced her resignation. And her reason was overwhelmed burnout, a 37-year-old leaving the highest office towards the end of this year. This one was followed by, early this year, we had a resignation from Nicola Sturgeon, the First Minister of Scotland, again, she wanted to focus her efforts elsewhere because it was just too much. And then from the private sector, we had Susan Wojcicki. It's a Polish name. And she's the CEO of YouTube. I think we all know YouTube, DigitALL. And she resigned, saying that she really wants to focus on her own health, on her family, and on projects that she really cares about a lot. And the last one was Sheryl Sandberg, who was the chief operating officer of Meta, which is a Facebook company. Facebook recently changed their name to Meta. And she also cited that she wants to focus more on philanthropy rather than the corporate world. So she will still be on the board as a non-executive capacity, in the non-executive capacity, but she is overwhelmed as well. And if you look at the age ranges, then Jacinda Ardern is 37 years old, and the rest of the women are in their early 50s. Yeah. And this really, I think we should all be looking at this phenomenon with a lot of interest so that we are able to avoid this in Tanzania, so that we are able to avoid it in the corporate sector in Tanzania. Because on one hand, we are talking about empowering women, but on the other hand, what workplaces have to think about is, are we providing the right environment for women to advance? And so that is what brings me to my next slide, which is on well-being. Because all of these women, they basically have left their positions, they've resigned, citing well-being, citing work-life balance. It is not directly cited, but you can read between the lines that the key issues were burnout, work-life balance, stress, as well as the environment in the companies, the organizations that they were in, because they were facing a lot of resistance there. This is something that we can read between the lines as well. And this is where we come to well-being. When we look at well-being, there are altogether 8 dimensions of well-being, and now the 9th dimension is also creeping up as we learn more and more about well-being. But the 4 key dimensions are what I'm projecting here on the slide. That is mental, emotional, social, and physical. And I think they are all self-explanatory. In the interest of time, I'm not going to go into each one of them at this point, okay? But when we look at today's theme, then this is where digital technology is taking over the well-being industry as well. And so we started with wearable devices, the Fitbits, the Apple Watch. We started doing our 10,000 steps tracking, if you were putting in 10,000 steps a day. And those are all the wearable devices that we started with. And then as we started becoming more and more aware, or as the technology companies started getting more and more aware of the need for well-being, they started coming up with apps around mindfulness and meditation because of the stress levels that were really going upwards, sky high. And then came the sleep tracking app, because more and more research is demonstrating how important adequate sleep is in your overall well-being paradigm. And so we also have sleep tracking app. Are you getting your 8 hours of sleep per day? Now we are seeing well-being and navigation platform. This is a company like Virgin Pulse, and there are a few other companies as well, where they have consolidated all the well-being parameters, and you basically are able to run and track your well-being programs on the cloud. And this is very much individualized, as well as it is organization-specific as well. And so some very interesting technology applications are coming up in this particular space as well. And then lastly, we come to gamification. Gamification with artificial intelligence is again, emerging, coming into the picture, and especially when we look at, gamification has a huge place in learning and development for an organization, because it is all very much self-directed learning. But along with that, it is also finding a space for sensitive topics such as sexual harassment, GBV, because of the stigma. Women are not very, they're not very comfortable talking about it openly. But through this gamification, they can be more aware of what their rights are and how do they report an incident, okay? So this is what is happening. Now, with that introduction, let me just move to corporate wellness as a strategic imperative. Increasingly, wellness is not a luxury. It should not be considered as a nice-to-have program, because sometimes it is just HR, you deal with it. I think this should more be treated as a strategic imperative. It should be, a healthy, dynamic workforce. I think we all know that is like a no-brainer, that a healthy, dynamic workforce drives the success of your organization. And so what environment are you providing? How do you promote well-being of your employees, looking at all the dimensions, that we have talked about, the key dimensions. And it should really be a strategic component. So when you are looking at your organization strategy, look at well-being as a strategic component with its own KPIs, with its own budgets, with its own monitoring and evaluation as well. When we started Impact Afia, well-being was, can you please send an aerobic instructor, and that is where it ended. Can you send a nutritionist to talk about nutrition? That is where it really ended. But now what we are seeing especially COVID, the pandemic has been a wake-up call. And what we are seeing is more and more organizations are becoming aware of looking after their own employees' total well-being, mental, emotional, physical, etc. Yeah? So when we look at companies, then if you really think of your organization, which is a microcosm of society, you've got all genders, you've got all races, you have got all ages, you have got all preferences there as well. Yeah? And so this is a microcosm of a society. And just reflect on how they will be able to impact their own family members as well as their community if we give them the right messages of well-being. Yeah? So this is really, it can pivot a great change when it comes to health and well-being of the society as a whole and of the nation as a whole. Okay? And this is where we come to Corporate Wellness and You project. This is a project that has been envisaged in partnership with Global Compact Network of Tanzania, because GC&T can be a platform. Right now, the way well-being, corporate wellness is being dealt with is where each organization has its own reporting, has its own KPIs, etc. We have got very little sharing going on between the organizations, very little learning going on between the organizations as well. So with a platform such as GC&T, we are able to come up with case studies, we are able to learn from each other as well, we are also able to see what works, what does not work, because there are challenges. We just heard that we are 300 years behind when it comes to gender equality. And so a lot needs to be done, in that regard. So the project will draw from 4 SDGs, SDG 3, which is good health and well-being, SDG 5, which is gender equality, SDG 8, which is decent work and economic growth, and SDG 11, which is sustainable cities and communities. And the year 1 of the project is, what we have looked at is for year 1 to focus on raising awareness, education, fact-finding, surveys, having monthly webinars, having quarterly panel discussions as well. That is the focus of year one. This will be the activities that will be carried out. We are still putting together some minor details of that project, but this is what the project is all about. Now, these are the three main focus areas. We heard a lot about gender-based violence. We heard about women's well-being at work. And one area that we have not heard about, but that still needs to be addressed, is addictions, addiction disorders. Yeah? We don't want to leave the men behind either. Yeah? So when we look at women's well-being at work, we are looking at self-care. And when we talk about self-care, it's a whole big elephant that we will need to kind of break down in small pieces and look at how can we raise awareness about self-care. This is where mental, emotional. Of course, we need to look at the life transitions of a woman, because a woman goes through several life transitions while she's at workplace and while she's at home as well, like maternal health, pregnancy, post-pregnancy, new baby care, menopause, all those transitions need to be considered, to be understood, and to see how the workplaces can create the right environment. Along with that, how the women can get better understanding of the transition that they are going through. Because there are a lot of myths, there are a lot of false beliefs, there are cultural traditions that we need to understand, and we need to see how do we get around that. And then we have got gender-based violence. This, again, is a huge piece. And when we look at gender-based violence, we may call it violence-free workplaces or workplaces without violence. Time is getting up, so let me speed up here. Yeah, okay. So when we look at gender-based violence, we are looking at sexual harassment, bullying, domestic and network violence as well. And then with addictions, we have alcohol, substance use, and digital addiction. I mean, yes, there are pros and cons of digitization, but with digital addiction, there is a new term that has just been coined, which is nomophobia. And so we need to be aware of that as well. And these are the project opportunities. Yes. 1 minute. These are the project opportunities. I will not go into detail because I have already given the description. But these are opportunities for the project as well as for the digitization. Okay? So I think with that, I would conclude my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Another round of applause for Ms. Bhakti Shah. And it's incredible how the program covers so many trajectories of a woman's career or life. And so, and actually points out to things that a lot of people don't think about. In the corporate space, I won't speak into them, but it was really interesting to hear about how menopause was also thought through in terms of how that works. And also, how do you create an equitable environment that does not intimidate a woman from not having a child, or feeling that her space will be taken over when she's gone, or intimidate her from, wanting to come back to the work environment because now I have responsibilities at home, but I need to give myself to both the work environment and the home, societal expectations and so on and so forth. It's a massive systemic challenge, and the systems are not just in the workspace, but how do we make space for women to truly succeed in all environments? But in this space, we're talking about the workspace. And I'm saying this in all environments because I do know a lot of men who champion gender equality in the workspace, but their wives are struggling. So to the men who are here, there you go. It was just a polite reminder. It's just a nudge, just a poke. Right? But I know it's none of you in the room, it's the ones out there. All right? So a hand of applause to the man in the room for championing gender equality. And with that, I'd like to invite our next speaker, Actually, before I do that, for anyone with a question and perhaps a comment for Ms. Bakhtisha, please reserve it, and then later we're going to have a moment to network. We'll be able to speak to her directly. In case we can make some space for perhaps one question from the organizers with their permission, then we'll allow it. But for now, please reserve your questions and you'll get to interact with her directly. And with that, I'd like to bring to the stage none other than Ms. Grace Munisi. Ms. Grace Munisi, who's from the Generation Equality National Task Force. A more intentional round of applause for Ms. Grace Munisi. Asanteni sana.
Hello. Yeah. No, I don't have presentation. Hello, good morning. Invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, protocol observed. My good names are Grace Munisi, and I'm working with Generation of Equality Tanzania among the selected 25 candidates who's really advising the President of United Republic of Tanzania on how we can advance the gender equality and the theme number 2 of economic justice and rights. So I'm so honored today, and I'm so happy to see this milestone to date. So without taking more time, I will just quick introduce to you the so-called Tanzania Generation of Equality. What is GF in Tanzania? Basically, 25 years after Beijing declarations, more than 189 countries came together and committed to accelerate effort to achieve gender equality. And of course, as we know, UN Women set up a Generation of Equality international platform where both the private and the government actors came together to see how we can boost, and of course we can strategize to fix the gap after the Beijing commitments, and here we go today. So during the GF United Republic of Tanzania, and Her Excellency President Samia Suluhu Hassan committed herself kwamba Tanzania will champion result number 2, which is to ensure economic justice and rights. This is her aspiration. And of course, that's why he appointed the 25 candidates to advance and to advise how we can be able to champion that one and to demonstrate the capability of ensuring that Tanzania is really walking the talk. So, when we talk about the Generation of Equality commitments, we have adopted 6 key result areas. And among these key result areas, we are seeing how the ICT and innovation is a key to unlock most potential as far as women and girls' economic empowerment is concerned. We are talking about different key result areas, which include investment in gender-responsive public and private sector, decent work, women access to resources and the control of resources. We are talking about gender-responsive macroeconomic plans and budgets, of which when you look into it, you are seeing how if we use well technology and innovation, we can be able really to demonstrate the real meaning of women and girls' empowerment and bring the meaningful gender equality. So for the Generation of Equality Tanzania, we have seen the potential of how ICT can be the driving force to ensure that when we talk about gender equality, when we talk about generation of equality, how can we be able to brand and use the ICT for the positive way and to bring the changes we want to see. So across all the key result areas that I'm not going to discuss in detail, we are seeing how we are really seeing the potentiality of engaging different stakeholders and ensure that we are coordinated to ensure that when you talk about the generation of equality, we want everyone on board. We want to not wait for the government or private to do on themselves. We need a coordination board that will ensure that our initiative is well coordinated, and of course we are making the impact that matter to the women and girls, and of course along some of the challenges that are really facing the women and girls. So generally, what is our call of today? As we are remembering 25 years after Beijing, and of course now we have Generation of Equality Tanzania, of which our Excellency Mama Samia Suluhu is the champion. What can we say then? We are saying that it's the right time to do the right and great thing, because we have our leader who is a woman, we have our leader who is really committed, and of course declared to the world that now is time to bring the intended goals for the women of Tanzania and the women globally. So basically we have a lot of calls, but generally what I'm going to read is what are the winning things that we think can help us to unlock the challenges that we observed for the past years and now as together going forward. So one of the things that we are really advocating is to have a good coordination. This is very important to ensure that, yesterday it happened that I attend one of the women economic digital platform somewhere, and then I have to learn a lot of things that is happening on ground. And I was like, is this really from Tanzania? You see? Because everyone is doing on his or her own. So we can't really reach the meaningful gender equality and women empowerment if everyone is doing in her own. Let's join efforts. Let's have the meaningful public-private partnership to ensure that we are bringing the meaningful and strategic gender equality and women empowerment. Then another thing that I want to call, there is a lot of models that are really working together, working well in most of the private and some of the government, but we don't know. We need to scale up this good initiative, this good model that has worked as far as generation of equality, gender equality and women empowerment is concerned. Let's use the space that we have to ensure that we do research and be able to spread the news that this model has worked. Let's take it to get forward as far as we want really to mean the gender equality and the women empowerment. Another thing that we are really seeing as opportunity and the call for today is to, especially to establish a women economic hub. Women hub where the most, you have heard about the challenge that are really the small women and the big scale women are experiencing as far as they want to transform the economic. So we should be able to advocate how best we can be able to demonstrate and create the innovation center of excellence where we can be able to mentor the grassroots women who are coming in to be able to see, and of course, attract more young girls and women to do their innovation better. But we also see some opportunity. Most of the interventions that we are seeing with my own little experience that I have, they are really not gender transformative. We have seen a lot of products, a lot of intervention, but they're gender blind. How can we, all of us, be the actor, be the champion to challenge the gender blind program? This is our call. Let's everyone be the good ambassador to advocate, to have a gender lens in every intervention that we are doing so that we can bring the meaningful gender equality and women empowerment. But also we have to advocate to have the long-term capital. This is another challenge that we are seeing in the implementation. The loan that we are seeing and the initiative, the short term. So at the time the girl or the woman is experiencing the interest, the project has ended. So it's the right time really to advocate for the long-term capital that will really mean the impact that you want to see to our women and the girls. Having said so, really much has been said, but as far as generation of equality Tanzania is concerned, is called to everyone to ensure that it's the right time now to advocate for meaningful and strategic women empowerment and gender equality. And of course, we are not aiming to leave men behind. We should be able to see men there because they are there already. But let them be the good champion to advocate for the basic practice that will help us to bring about gender equality in Tanzania. And we are lucky, this is our time. We have our mama, Her Excellency President Samia Suluhu Hassan, with us, so let's do it. This is our golden chance. Mungu awabariki sana, na asanteni sana kwa kunisikiliza.
Thank you very much. So I'm just going to pick on her a little bit, Ms. Munisi. You said, in my little experience, you know humility and women, eh? If we had a gentleman here, he would have said, in my many years of working across the continent. Eh? But just let's give a hand of applause to Ms. Munisi and her many years of experience and the incredible work that she has been doing to champion the cause. Thank you very much. And with that, I'm going to usher us directly into the panel. In terms of some of the takeaways, I'm going to share them as I'm inviting the panel. I just want to point out that as we go into the panel discussion, halfway, perhaps just in the beginning, we're going to have to break to actually ring the bell at 10:30. So don't be distracted with that. At 10:30, we shall be ringing the bell with the global community, ringing the bell for gender equality. So if your phone is not charged, has little charge, just save that charge, because we need to take those photos and those videos and put them up so that the world will know Tanzania rang the bell at the Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange. So as we are getting into the panel, I'm just going to also say that our panel is going to be both Swahili and English. So if you're a predominantly English speaker, please try to see if you can have somebody next to you who can help you translate some of the incredible things that will be said. However, I'll also be doing the translation for you. This is where we're going to see if my Swahili teacher did good work. God bless her soul. And then also, just to pinpoint that the hashtags, just to remind us all as they are. So you see how I'm saving them time, eh? I'm making it happen so that they can. The hashtags are embracing equality, embracing equity, I apologize. Hashtag ring the bell 2023. Hashtag DigitALL. So DigitALL. Hashtag gender equality for digital. So there are 3 hashtags. Our theme is embracing equity. The hashtags are ring the bell 2023, hashtag DigitALL, all caps, hashtag gender equality for digital. Is that okay? We're good? It was interesting when Ms. Munisi brought out the fact that we have several programs that are gender blind, and I started thinking about our ICT policy in Tanzania, and how, I don't know, how many people have actually had a look at our ICT policy? Hands up. Okay, nice. So 2 in the audience, that's good. It's better than nothing. But I'm pretty sure there's a lot more. So I'm going to ask again, how many of us have had a look? It doesn't, have a look does not mean you have read through, but you have heard about it, you have spoken about it, you have been in conversations about it, about the ICT policy in Tanzania. Okay, let me try again. How many actually know there's an ICT policy? Because that could be the problem. All right, one of the things about ICT policy, we're not going to go into it right now, but there have been conversations around the fact that it needs to be less gender blind. There are a lot of reflections on the challenges in there, but we need to start thinking more so about how to make sure that it's not silent, but we have gender and women issues adequately represented in our ICT policy. And with that, I'm going to invite our panel for today. That's another thing, put it on another agenda for the things that you have to do, because you're going to leave here with a lot of action points. Do not feel overburdened. It's fine. We are pushing for Agenda 2030. I'm going to call my panel for today. And I'm going to ask you to give them an immense round of applause as they come on, because for some of them, it is their first time to be speaking on a panel, but they have impeccable experience in championing gender equality as well as a representation in the ICT field. So the first I'm going to bring to the stage is none other than Miss Maxina Daniel. Miss Maxina Daniel, she is the founder of Amala App, a core banking solution servicing financial institutions such as SACCOs and microfinance institutions. Maxina also builds fintech solutions that address challenges of financial institutions in emerging markets. She has over 5 years of experience working with financial institutions on implementing tech solutions that can improve service to reach the unbanked and non-banked populations. A hand of applause to her work. Then I'm going to bring to the stage none other than the eloquent Miss Victoria Mwanakuzi. She is the founder and managing director of Nyanzobe Insights Limited, a horticulture production company that produces fruits and vegetables using sustainable and digital agriculture practices. She is a board member of TAHA, the Tanzania Horticulture Association. She is a Tanzania Women Chamber of Commerce member, and she is part of the Network of African Businesses Tanzanian chapter. A hand of applause to Ms. Mwanakuzi. I'm just gonna say I didn't realize it was as heavy as it was. I was here talking about gender equality and my muscles were like, nope, 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 nope. Find help. My muscles like, find help, find help. All right, thank you so much, Ms. Marsh. All right, and without further ado, we're going to bring to the stage our next panelist. This is none other than Ms. Leah Richard Mwendamseke. She is one of the most renowned names in the whole of the film industry in Tanzania. Founder and managing director of Lamata Village Entertainment, a filmmaking company which has groomed and worked with multiple talents in and out of the country. In 2017, Leah landed a deal with DSTV after she made a demo to a cartoony series. Not only did the series pave the way for her career, but also the series shone light upon her name as one of the top talents in Tanzania's film industry. We also have with us Ms. Mwawi Leah Mlokano. Ms. Mwawi Leah Mlokano is the founder of Itiro. Do we have Ms. Leah in the audience? Here we go. She's the founder of Itiro, an ICT company. She pioneered on the creation of management information systems, which help organizations to collect fees, fee payment, provide license and certification, supervision and reporting. Mwawi also designed an ICT for Girls project to help girls access ICT through public library. She was a secretary of the Tanzania mHealth Community of Practice. During her time as secretary, she contributed to the development of Tanzania Digital Health Strategy, 2019 to 2024. Some of you are wondering, we have a Tanzania Digital Health Strategy. Yes, we do. All right. To move on, we have with us Ms. Anna Njavile. Ms. Anna Njavile. Do we have her here with us? Yes. Ms. Anna has 8 years of experience in power generation, focusing on supply installation. She is engineer. Anna Njavile. 8 years of experience in power generation, focusing on supply installation, maintenance, spare parts, and tech support for clients. Most of the technical persons are women who engage in load study at client sites and advise the appropriate way to even size your machine equipment to purchase according to client load. So her team is made up of women who do things that a lot of people at some point thought only existed in a man's world. A hand of applause for engineer Anna. The final panelist we have with us today is none other than Ms. Maria Msome. Ms. Maria is the founder and CEO of Art Wink Group of Companies. This is the fastest growing private company in Tanzania. Maria has managed cultural artist Mrisho Mpoto for 5 years in the field of social awareness, campaign design and implementation, advert promotions, youth development programs, motivational speaking, and cultural development activities. She's committed to developing the skills of young people so that they can find employment and engage in positive life choices. A massive, massive round of applause to our panel. I am also going to take a moment to invite the panel's moderator for today. She is none other than the country director for Girl Effect here in Tanzania, a company, an NGO focusing on digital inclusion, mostly focused on sexual reproductive health, access to education, as well as economic empowerment, using digital tools and leveraging digital tools to reach both mixed communities as well as those in the cities to make sure that young women, adolescent girls and young women are provided with the skills, the tools, and we drive social behavioral change communication to ensure that they have the agency to make positive life choices. She is also the founder and CEO of Unleashed Africa Social Ventures, a group of social enterprises focused on social innovation, job creation, as well as youth development, focusing on the creative economy, tech for gender, as well as social enterprise ecosystem development. A hand of applause to our moderator for today. She is none other than Ms. Khalila Mbowe. Hello, hello. Thank you very much. Asanteni-san. All right. I am very conscious of the time because I do not want us to not ring the bell. I shall be... It's tracked. Of course, the organizers are on point. All right. It's 10:23, so we have 7 minutes. Is that correct? Okay. Asanteni sana wazungumzaji wetu siku ya leo. Karibuni. Kuna ma-engineer, ma-ICT professionals, kuna ma-director na ma-producer. Kama unatafuta, kuna mtu hapo anaweza kufikiria jamani nina ndoto ya mimi kuwa kwenye movie. This is your chance. This right here. Moja kwa moja nitaanza kuuliza, I'm going to start by asking, kwenye hizi dakika 5-6 ambazo tunazo, nitataka kuuliza swali ambalo labda tutalijibu kwa pamoja. Gender equality kwako kwenye field au tasnia ambayo unafanyia kazi, unadhani ina changamoto gani? Yani kwa kifupi sana, very quickly, na ni una mawazo gani kuhusu gender equality kwenye tasnia ambayo unaifanyia kazi? Ushirikishaji wa wanawake. Karibu sana, tutaanza moja kwa moja na our producer and renowned filmmaker. Alafu tutakuja hivi.
Habari. Changamoto kubwa ni kama si upande wetu wa sanaa, wanawake wengi ni waoga na kama kazi ninayofanya mimi, sasa wengi ni waigizaji, lakini kufanya kazi kama ninafanya mimi kama producer, director inakuwa ni ngumu. Kwa hiyo wanakuwa na changamoto kubwa kwa sababu wanaume wengi ndio walioanza kwenye hizi kazi. Kwa hiyo mwanamke kuamini, yani mtu kukuamini wewe kufanya hii kazi inakuwa ni ngumu sana. Kwa lazima upambane sana ili watu wakuamini kama mwanamke unaweza kufanya hii kazi.
Asante sana. Fear, lack of confidence. Karibu sana, Miss Victoria.
Hello. Okay, I speak as a farmer. So you can imagine, and like here we're talking about rural women who are farming. And when it comes to farm, you really need to have a land, you really need to have access to finance. So it's really difficult because most of those things are being owned by men. So whatever you want to do, you need to ask. Unless you get a man who might be a husband, a brother, an uncle who understands the importance of women having access to finance or land, it's really difficult. So with digital and this information transformation, bringing the men to be aware of what is happening we believe we are going to bridge that gap.
Thank you very much. Maxina, karibu.
Thank you. Good morning. In my space of work in technology, there is a mindset that hard things is for men. And most of the people find that science and technology is hard things to do. So for my case, there are few women than men in technology. And for me, I would advise the change of mindset from primary to secondary school so that we can have more girls who want to engage in technology, who want to engage in science.
Thank you very much. Karibu sana.
Good morning. On my side, as I worked with girls on ICT, I discovered that the biggest challenge is just a mindset. A lot of women believe that ICT or technology is masculine, so it's for men, not for girls. And the other problem is, for instance, in ICT, we have a lot of coding, and those coders don't sleep. They work overnight sometimes. She knows. And sometimes you become laugh because all the time you have to think and squeezing your head. It's not feminine. We know women, we always like to look good and have time to rest and things like that. But also if you're a woman, and like me, a woman, a mother, you can't have that enough time to code. It's so hard. So those challenges makes a lot of women run away from ICT, especially programmers.
Thank you. For my side, in engineering areas, still there is a big challenge. Changamoto ni kubwa. Changamoto ni kubwa, mpaka sasa hivi bado tunafesi changamoto, na actually, especially sisi wanawake ma-engineers, we have our chapter, Women Engineers chapter, ambayo sasa tunajikita zaidi kutembelea mashule ya girls kwa ajili ya kuwaamsha wasichana kuchukua masomo ya sayansi na hisabati ili kuweza kuingia kwenye hii gender equality vizuri, kwa sababu wengi wameweza wamekata tamaa, lakini sisi tuko mbele, tunaonyesha kwamba inawezekana. Kama mimi nimeweza na nina run a technical company, basi na kwa watoto wetu na wote wanawake wanaweza kufanya hii sekta. Kwa hivyo nadhani tu ni dhana potofu ambayo imejengeka kwenye akili za watu wengi kwamba wanawake hawawezi kwenye technical parts, but we manage and we do it.
Asante sana.
Asante. Mimi kwa upande wangu, changamoto kubwa ambayo naiona ni kwamba ni mentality, kwamba nafanya sana kazi na wasanii, dancers na wacheza ngoma na nini, lakini kikubwa ambacho nakiona ni mentality kwamba sanaa ni uhuni. Lakini nachoweza kusema ni kwamba sanaa sio uhuni, sanaa ni ajira. Kwa sababu kupitia shughuli zangu za behavior change communication kwa kutumia sanaa, nina vijana ambao ni mwisho wa siku wamejiajiri. Kwa hiyo wanapata kipato kupitia sanaa. Kwa hiyo naweza kusema kwamba changamoto kubwa ni hiyo, ni mentality kwamba sanaa ni uhuni, lakini sanaa ni ajira. Kwa labda niishie hapo.
Asante sana. A hand of applause to the panel. Tumeanza. And it's now time to ring the bell. Kama nilivyosema, we're going to take a pause as we begin our panel. I'm going to ask, yeah, nataka ndo namuita. Naomba wote tusimame, let's all get up on our feet. All right, is it? All right, let's go. Is the bell ready? The bell is ready. There we go. We are ringing the bell for Gender Equality 2023. 1, 2, 3, embracing equity. 1, 2, 3. Like you mean it this time. 1, 2, 3. Yes, thank you very much. We have officially joined the entire world in ringing the bell for gender equality. A hand of applause to everybody in the room. Congratulations to the Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange. Congratulations to the Global Compact Network Tanzania. Congratulations to IFC, as well as UN Women who have partnered to run this event today, as well as Stanbic Bank, TTCL, T-Pesa, our sponsors for this event. Asanteni sana. It shows you how, for those who are expecting a ginormous bell, I think some were expecting something to come here. I'd just like you to reflect on the power of a single woman or a single girl to change a society. So the bell does not have to be ginormous for the change to be gigantic. And we have rang the bell. I'm going to remind you again to post on your social media pages. #RingTheBell 2023 so that everybody around the world can see that Tanzania rang the bell on the 8th of March 2023 at the Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange. #DigitALL, DigitALL, D-I-G-I-T, all A-W-L-L, capital letters. #Gender Equality for Digital. Sasa moja kwa moja tunaenda kwenye mazungumzo, tunaenda kupiga story. Nitaomba ruhusa kusahau kwamba mpo. Manake hapa tunaingia sebleni, tunaingia kwenye kuteta, tunaingia kwenye kuzungumza, tunasema mambo kuntu. For those who didn't understand what I was saying, I was just going to say we're going to have a cup of tea. And we're literally going to be discussing, we're getting into the living room right now. And I'm asking for permission to forget that you're here so we can have a candid conversation amongst ourselves, right? Just to point out, we have several industries represented here. There is the film industry, the art, the creative economy represented. We have agriculture, we have ICT from the side of developers, we have engineering, and we have, again, the creative economy, but also we have social behavioral change communication, which is a really critical part when we're talking about change. So I'm just going to ask for you to give a massive round of applause to the organizers of this event to make sure that there was such diversity in the panel. Mwapigie makofi kidogo. Wamefanya kazi kubwa kwa kweli. Lakini moja kwa moja tunaenda kwenye maswali yetu. Nitaanza na Mwawi. All right. Mwawi, there are significant opportunities to leverage transformative technology, innovation, and digital education to promote an inclusive and sustainable future for all. So people say, no maneno makubwa, terms ngeli ambazo zingekuwa connected tungekuwa tunafeli. However, access to and use of digital technologies will play a big role in determining economic participation and success. That's true. According to the government of Tanzania statistics, less than 10% of women work in fast-growing information and basically the ICT sector. Less than 10%. It says 10%, but I'm wondering if it's, it's nice to say less than 10, so you're thinking you have 10 there. Could it be less than 5? And that's something you can tell us in terms of as you're reflecting on this. However, we know that there's a significant gap, that's what we're saying, to achieving digital for all. So tell us, using your story, talk to us about your story of founding Itudo. Tuambie story yako ilikuwaje, mawazo yakaje, na ukapata wapi ujasiri wa kuanzisha kitu kwenye sehemu ambao labda mwanzoni haukuwepo, au kama tunasema kwamba it's a masculine space. Where did you get the courage to step into it? And what were the challenges that you found in the very beginning?
Okay, by profession I'm a teacher, mwalimu wa Kiswahili na history. I never studied STEM. Yeah. So mimi nilisoma arts, pure arts, history, Kiswahili, literature, civics, those 7 subjects. Huh? Yes, and at university I went to pursue Bachelor of Art with Education. But later on I had a partner who studied computer science. So I was interested in computer science, but I didn't have a chance to study computer science. And the problem started when I was in secondary school. Because in secondary school, when we are in Form 3, you have to choose where to go. I passed chemistry, biology, and physics, but failed the mathematics. And my second mistress told me that you can't study science, so you have to go to art subject because you failed mathematics. So I skipped the science, I went to arts up to the university, and then I found someone who knows ICT, good in mathematics and everything. Then I started to learn from him, and he said, can we start a company of IT? I said, okay, we can start an IT company, but in IT, we'll have a component of education. He said, okay, fine, it's fine. So I became an IT student out of school. So I learned out of school. And those days when we started a company, I think I was the only lady among women. Among men, I was the only woman among men. We have like 8 of us in the company, the only lady. Others were masculine, so I had to be tough like them. Learning IT, learning how coding, designing, analysis, and all those stuffs. And then I became professional. But I don't have a certificate of university. So that's how I go. But when I was doing, when I was studying and when I was keeping on working, I discovered that it's not only me who don't know ICT or because of the gender. We were giving opportunity to university students to come in our company for internship, 3 months internship. The problem was, and maybe that statistic of maybe 1 or 2% comes in. You can have 50 students, only 2 girls, or 3. There was no time I have 10, no. There was a time I have only 5 girls. That was the time I had a lot of girls, coders, who know how to code. So that gave me to see that this is really seen as a masculine thing, to be a professional IT. A lot of women were skipping out of it. Some of them were selected in university to study computer science, but when they entered the university, they changed it and pursue another courses because of the mindset that IT is too tough, you can't code and things like that. So the biggest challenge I saw is perception and mindset and the environment itself, because if you are the only girl among the men, sometimes it's tough because there is femininity in us. We need to embrace it. But how can you do it? Because those males want you to behave like them. And sometimes you want to be a girl and you can't be. So that's the biggest challenge. But also facilities were not enough to accommodate women with their needs. Because when you are among the men and you need to code, you need maybe to do a work overnight, you can't be safe. You are the only girl and others are men overnight coding. It's not safe. Even in mindset, you can see I'm the only girl here. So things like that. But the other thing is, I studied myself that a lot of challenges started from secondary school or primary school because a lot of girls are not given opportunity to study STEM or to be involved in technology since they're in secondary school. So it's not easy to be an IT or an engineer at the university if you didn't have a chance at the secondary school level.
Thank you very much. And that's real experience. That's real experience. To that point that I said earlier, where kulikuwa kuna mwalimu akatuambia kabisa, yani nyinyi mnatuambia tuwahimize watoto wa kike wajifunze STEM, sayansi, wakati tunajua wanaenda kwa kuelewa. Iko kitu hakipo. Yani wakatuambia kabisa kavu, iko kitu hakipo.
And the one who told me not to study science was a woman.
And these are the realities on ground. Asante sana Mwawe. Umetupa vitu vingi vya kureflect on. Moja kwa moja nitaruka kwa Maxina. Maxina, Kwenye kuna ripoti ya World Bank 2017 imesema kwamba 15% ya founders upande wa fintech hapa Dar es Salaam ni wanawake, 15%. Mimi ningependa kidogo nitauliza swali langu, lakini nitapenda kugusia hiyo 15% fintech wanawake. Naomba tuambie kidogo kuhusu solution ambayo umetengeneza, the fintech solution you have developed, na jinsi gani Amalo unaiona, jinsi gani Amalo inahimiza change kwenye hili jambo. And also let's talk to us about one, perhaps tuambie Amalo inafanya nini, right? Tuambie jinsi gani ulivyokuja na the idea, what prodded the idea, because kitu kingine pia ulichokisema kwamba kulikuwa kuna fear, watu wana deem it's a masculine space. So wewe ilikuwaje ukaamua kuingia kwenye hilo eneo? Na pia tuambie mbeleni Amalo una vision gani kwa Amalo?
Okay, thank you. For myself, you mentioned about the 15%. I think it's because of how the primary and secondary school education it is, and the mindset of most girls and even parents. They consider as science and technology is hard things to do, and most women do not want to do hard things, or parents do not push girls to do hard things. They find hard things for men. So I think the 15%, it's because of that. We haven't structured our we haven't encouraged our girls to take STEM educations. And for Amala is a technology solution which it helps financial institutions, microfinance and SACCOs to manage the provision of their financial services. So with Amala, microfinance can manage the information of their clients. In an easy way, you call it a co-banking system. It's more like a banking system, but for now it's for microfinance and SACCOs. And with Amala, we have provided even the mobile application where a member of a SACCOs can access their financial information on that institution. So Amala has helped, for instance, before, or for the SACCOs which is not using Amala, for a member to know the balance of their loan, they have to go physically to the SACCOs office. Or if they want to know if they are qualified for a loan, they have to go physically to the SACCOs office. But with Amala, a member can access the information through their mobile phones, and so it's easy for them if they want to make any financial decision to make on point, because they can access the information at any time when they want. Yes.
Ni kitu gani ambacho, what triggered the thought, all right? And where do you see the future of Amala?
A little bit about myself. I'm a mathematician's lover. I love mathematics. And in my life, I wanted to make an impact in my society. So when I joined with my partner, who provided a little bit financial for the projects, what I looked on where we can make an impact in our community, and looking at how financial institutions were providing their services, the microfinance and SACCOs. For now, we focused on microfinance and SACCOs. How they are providing their services, we thought there was an opportunity for us to support them, provide better services. So we came up with Amala to improve their services.
Thank you very much. So from what you're saying, Kwanza, I'd like us to note that she said for now we are focused on SACCOs and microfinance. So basically in future, we shall be seeing Amalo in lights.
Yes.
Amala. I
Yes.
apologize.
Oh, okay, it's okay.
I was just checking if she was listening, you know. So we're going to be seeing Amala servicing
Yes.
banks and so forth.
Yes, we are planning to provide more services in Amala, and now we are trying to look on how we can serve Vikoba too, because Vikoba, they're involving more women, and we want to improve the services that these women are getting, like the woman who is engaging in selling fruits, every week they have to go to their meeting to get the information of the share contributions, how much of the outstanding loan they have with the Vikoba. So we want to improve that so that they can get that information even they are at home. And maybe they might rethink of meeting weekly, and that time can be used to engage in other productive activities.
Wonderful. Wonderful. That's incredible how we can create, you have women creating solutions that in one way or the other will help other women and make that change. Thank you so much, Maxina. I hear that you are clapping. Please do clap. Clap. Do not, feel free to clap. We are in the living room, tuko sebleni, lakini makofi tunayapata, tunayasikia. Moja kwa moja, Lea, karibu. Naona unanikata jicho hapo. Unaona huyu amekaa kwenye mambo ya coding aje huku. Tunakuja. Sasa moja kwa moja kwenye tasnia ya filamu. Tukiangalia tukiona mazungumzo kwenye kideo, hata tukiangalia wale wanaozungumza pale BASATA, tunaona wanaume sana. Ni wanaume, ni male dominated industry. Hata ukifikiria producer Tanzania, kwa mtu ambao yuko nje hawezi kufikiria mwanamke. Ni cha mwisho kabisa. Labda utuambie, ukiangalia wewe safari yako ya kuingia kwenye tasnia ya filamu, tuambie ilianza wapi na kitu iko ulipata wapi ujasiri kuingiza miguu yote miwili kwenye tasnia ambayo kwa wengine wanaweza kudhani kwamba haikuhusu. Na pia tunajua kwamba wanawake hupata changamoto tofauti sana na wanaume wakiwa wanaingia kwenye tasnia hii. Lakini sio wakiwa wanaingia tu, lakini hata kupata success na mafanikio humu ndani ni ngumu sana. Wanawake wengine wana give up kwa sababu kuna vitu fulani lazima wafanye ambao kwa namna moja au nyingine zina challenge utu wao. So kama hautaki kutoa utu wako, utajua hautafanikiwa. Lakini ukiamua kuweka hadharani, mafanikio yanakuja. So wewe, talk to us about your journey. Safari yako imekuaje mpaka umeweza kupenetrate na kuingia kwenye hii tasnia na kuwa na mafanikio sio madogo lakini makubwa?
Kiukweli safari yangu ilikuwa ni ngumu sana, lakini nilipambana. Cha kwanza mimi hii kazi ninayofanya sikusomea, niseme tu ni kipaji, na nilianza kwenye uandishi, nilikuwa naandika. Katika kupambana nikajikuta naingia kwenye makundi ambao wanafanya sanaa. Katika kuingia kwenye makundi sasa nikaanza kufanikiwa kuingia kwenye seti ambao wanashoot sasa. Asilimia kubwa kule madirector walikuwa ni wanaume na waandishi pia walikuwa ni wanaume. Lakini pia mimi kwa macho yangu ya kawaida nikaona hii ni chance. Naona asilimia kubwa ni wanaume, na kama mwanamke yupo ni mmoja au wawili ambao pia hawajulikani, yani hawapewi nafasi. Kwa hiyo mimi nilipambana, japokuwa ilikuwa ni ngumu sana, kwa sababu nikisema mimi ni director wa kike hawezi kuwa director. Hata ukienda set labda umeweza kufanikiwa, umeenda set kusema uka direct, msanii anakataa kabisa, wewe ni director. Na hapo ukiangalia nyuma kidogo, nilikuwa kabla sijakuwa director nilikuwa nafanya zile kazi za usafi ndani ya set ya location ambako wasanii wanashoot na wapasia nguo wasanii, lakini pia nilikuwa najifunza na pasi nguo na tabeki. Kwa hiyo nilikuwa natumia hiyo njia ili nijifunze. Kwa hiyo nilikuwa najifunza director anavyofanya kazi yake, producer anafanya kazi yake, lakini mimi kichwani nilikuwa najua nafanya nini. Japokuwa changamoto ikawa ni kubwa sana kama mwanamke, ukitaka ufanye kitu, hata ukiweza kudirect, mtu anashindwa kukuandika jina lako, anajiandika yeye jina la mwanaume kwamba ka direct mimi Lea, lakini jina anajiandika yeye producer wa kiume. Kwa hiyo ilikuwa inaumiza sana, unaweza kufanya kazi kwa nguvu lakini ikashindikana. Namshukuru Mungu, katika kupambana niliamini kwamba kama mimi mwanamke nitaweza, na nikajua wanawake wengi wanashindwa kwa sababu vita ni kubwa ilikuwa kwa wanaume. Anaweza kukudanganya, bwana utaweza ukafanya, kwa sababu ukipata jina ile kama directed by fulani inakuwa ni jina kubwa, unafurahi. Kuna baadhi ya wanawake ambao walikuwa wanatamani kufanya hivyo, lakini ndio hivyo wanaume wanawatumia kwa namna nyingine, lakini mwisho siku hata jina sikuandiki. Kwa hiyo ilikuwa ni ngumu sana, wanawake wengi walikata tamaa sana kwa sababu sikuwa peke yangu, kuna wengine walikuwa wananifuata nyuma lakini walishindwa. Ila mimi nilipambana na mwisho wa siku Mungu akanisaidia. Nashukuru sana Mad Choice DSTV Tanzania. Yes. Hao ndo walinifungulia mimi njia kutoka kuwa Lea kama mimi Lea na kuwa Lamata Village Entertainment na kuajiri zaidi ya watu 100.
Jacqueline Weiso. Karibu. Let's ask Jacqueline Weiso to stand up from Multi Choice. Please do stand up. Leo amewapaisha vibaya mno kwa mtu ambaye hana kingamuzi. Ndo muda wako wa kutafuta series ya katuni. Sawa. Leo nina swali la kuongeza hapo. Umesema kuna wanawake wengi ambao walikata tamaa, wakaishia katikati. Ni kitu gani ambacho kilikuhimiza wewe usikate tamaa pale ambapo ulikuwa unapambana na hizi changamoto nzito? Because naamini kuna hapa sasa hivi umekaa umependeza, naamini hapa katikati kulikuwa kuna machozi, kulikuwa kuna kushikana mashati, kulikuwa na wewe labda kuna siku ambao na wewe ulitaka kukata tamaa. Ni kitu gani ambacho kilikufanya uendelee?
Mimi nafikiri ni malengo tu, nilikuwa nina malengo. Yani nilikuwa natamani siku moja niwe fulani niweze kusaidia na wengine. Kwa sababu maisha niliyopitia huko nyuma kwenye industry yaliniumiza sana, mimi na wanawake wengine. Nikasema kama mwanamke nitafanikiwa kupenya hapa, nafikiri wanawake wengi sana watapona. Kwa hicho kitu kilinishika sana.
Wah. Sasa unajua usimfanyie hivyo moderator, maana sasa unafika yani mpaka I'm like wow. Na inabidi niendelee, mko mnatoa manondo hivi na kwa ngumu sana kwangu, maana yake nilikuwa mpiga na kitu kizito. Hongera sana. Congratulations. So what she says is she started out by literally cleaning sets. She started out by cleaning sets, started out by doing laundry for actors at sets. She does not have a background in studying film. She never had a background in the creative industry at all. But as, you know, working as on janitorial duties, she was able to start exploring. First, she noticed and spotlighted the fact that among the directors and the producers, there were no women at all. And if she ever saw one, it was probably one or two, but most of the times they just frizzled out of existence because it was basically the men predominantly taking stage. And so she saw that as an opportunity. Little by little, year after year, as she was working on cleaning the sets, she started picking up that expertise. She started learning by observation, right? And eventually, because she loved writing before, she started now also working to produce she started paving her way towards production. Some of the challenges she got was because of the belief and the mindset that it is a male-dominated industry. Even actors refused to work with her because we can't be directed by a female director. It is impossible for you to do the work that a male director can do, but she still persevered. And the thing that kept her going is she wanted to make a difference in the industry so that more women could actually have a path to success in the space that hindered success for so many. If she was to be the first, she would be the first, but she was going to make sure that she overcome all the challenges so she can become a bridge for others. A hand of applause to Leah for that. We have an exceptional panel and exceptional stories. I'm going to jump directly to Victoria. One of the few women, well, the many women in Africa, but the few women who are thinking about bringing digital within that space, right? And actually actively working on it. Even though women-owned enterprises account for 54% of all SMEs in Tanzania, SMMEs in Tanzania, they form 60% of all micro-enterprises. Lack of access to the right information in markets are among key challenges limiting women businesses to grow. How important is access to digital tools for small businesses and farmers to grow? But before you even go into that, perhaps just tell us about what you do, what you have been doing, and then we can go into how important the access for digital tools for small businesses and farmers growth is.
Thank you very much. Maybe I just have to say in this forum, I come as a board member of Tanzania Horticulture Association, which is an Apex private sector member-based organization that advocates growth and competitiveness horticulture industry in Tanzania. So it also promotes and develops horticulture, inclusive growth, viability, and sustainability. So I'm the user of the app. I'm not an initiator. I'm not the founder as the rest of the panel. But as TAHA, we decided to have that digital platform to help farmers and the entire value chain actors to bridge the information gap among the value chain actors. So this app is very important because it provides information for farmers, buyers, exporters, but even consumers. Because at times, like now, we really need to be health conscious. We believe horticulture is for health and wealth. When you are healthy, you can do a lot, even generating wealth. And for instance, for consumers in this app, it's very important for you to have because it even provides food color. Probably many didn't know about the color that you consume, what it does to your body. So in this app, you'll be able to know. We also have body mass index. If you know your weight, if you know your height, you calculate and see, your weight, is it normal? Is it underweight? Is it obese? And you need to do something about it. Now, bridging the gap for women, especially rural women, I'm talking more about rural because women in the city have access to so many things. It might not be that easy, but at least for rural, it's even more difficult. But for this app, they are able now, especially now we are talking about the farmers. We have different types of crops because horticulture includes flowers, includes vegetables, fruits, tubers, even spices. So you can be able to access the extension officers using the app. You can, for instance, the production. For instance, so it doesn't matter what you're growing. We have tried to cater all the crops. And agriculture is science. When you have a problem, you need to tackle it now. Extension officers are not enough because farmers are also many. We have tried, the government has tried, the private sector has tried to engage everyone to farm. So the farmers are many. And so we cannot meet all the needs using the extension officers. So what we have done, we have that app. You can see whatever challenges that you're having, and there will be some information there to help you, like a first aid. And when you need an extension officer, then there is an opportunity to call or to text for you to be attended. That's one. But the second one is trade and investment. We have market trends. We have market prices. We also have, now you can know, because when you have market prices, you are able to negotiate. It doesn't matter if you're a woman, as long as you know the price. If a buyer comes, at least you have an idea. And those prices are being updated 3 times a week to enable you to be up to date, to know exactly if it's an onion, how much is it being sold per kilo, per region. It's not a global, per region. Probably Dar es Salaam might be expensive, but Njombe, Arusha might be. So those information are very critical. So the importance is, first of all, it makes you access the service easily, but as well, you become transparent and effective in whatever you do. And at this moment, I will, because it is difficult, as we've been saying that not many women have access to mobile phones, but this is very key and this is very important. And so I will take this opportunity to partner with probably mobile network operators. We can see how we can give these farmers these mobile phones and see how we can probably arrange to pay monthly so that everyone can have this, this phone to enable, improve their access to finance and opportunities that are being given.
Thank you very much. A hand of applause to that. Because basically, you've talked about access to tools, you've talked about largely access to information. access to the right updated information that can make a difference. And the thing that the tools do, in terms of the app that you're talking about, it's really interesting, this connection or access to extension offices. One of the things that we have when it comes to human resource, the human resource able to now service the plethora of farmers around the country is very minute. So then how do we scale? So is this how technology can bring about economies of scale with a smaller number of people so that we can service a larger number of farmers? So that's what we're trying to do here. But then one of the things that, apart from just access to these extension officers, what this platform does is, in the information that you talked about, there are a lot of issues around access to market trends and market prices. This is the outcry of farmers year in, year out. But the fact that this platform is updated 3 times a week, because even me, I'm thinking now my agri dreams are coming back. I'm like, hey, okay, I have to download this app, so perhaps we can try. Don't lie, you're thinking about it too. So it's incredible what this platform can do. But something that you've brought up, which I think is really key, is the fact that a lot within the rural and remote areas where we have farmers residing, actually, even though we have this incredible platform that has this incredible information, has this incredible resource in terms of the extension officers, access to the device is an issue. But then also, I think even when it comes to women now, because there are unique challenges when it comes to women's access to devices, and hence access to this information because of all the social contextual challenges that they face. So it would be really interesting to think about, or hear about some of the ideas that Taha has to kind of mitigate that. You spoke about MNOs and making sure that the information goes there in one way or the other. And this points to what Ms. Munisi was talking about in terms of collaboration and partnerships, right? There's this incredible information here, but then people cannot do it alone. So how can we form consortium sort of partnerships so that we can get a lot more of this change out there? Thank you very much, Ms. Mwanukuzi. Now, moja kwa moja, directly, I'm going to jump to Anna. Engineer, Anna. Currently, 75% of women-owned businesses in Tanzania don't have access to finance. Watu hawana pesa, mtaji ni changamoto. Ndio maana kuna kudanga mjini. We're having a real conversation. One of the things I don't want to do as a moderator is skirt over real issues, because that's what we are here to address. So we're saying 75% of women-owned businesses in Tanzania do not have access to finance. And so people are looking for solutions and alternative ways to generate capital. And they need to the access of the finance they need due to challenges of lack of collateral or limited access to availability of financial products. We know that they're there, but then access, being able to tap into them. And sometimes one of the women I spoke to was like, it's too complicated. Mi siwezi kujaza. Tukizungumzia hii mikopo ya wajasiriamali kutoka serikalini. So as a woman CEO in the tech space, or as a woman CEO in your field, what are the key skills you believe women need to grow their businesses? What are the key skills they need to access finance? What are the skills they need to move from point A to point B? Skills that you yourself have attained, have worked on, and you have seen success in your business.
Asante moderator kwa swali. Nadhani niende moja kwa moja kwenye key skills. Actual, we engineers ama technical women's ambao tuna own companies, special engineering, huwa tuna believe kwamba ukiwa na engineering skills basi una kila kitu. You can do anything, you can solve anything, but in a real sense tunahitajika tupate inputs za kuweza kufanya business zetu ziweze kugrow na kusustain. So there are some key skills we have to acquire in order that our business has to grow and to sustain. One of the, let me share, one of the one of the key skills we have to have in order to grow our business is business management skills. Business management skills, because ukiwa na business management skills, utaona mwanga kwamba wapi unaenda, kwa sababu mwenye business ni wewe. Wewe ndio mbeba maono. Kwa hiyo unajua wapi unataka kwenda. Lazima uwe na plan ambazo zinaweza kukufikisha, strategies ambazo zinaweza kukufikisha uweze kufanya biashara yako vizuri. Lakini other skills ambayo naweza nikashare kwamba mtu wa technical ama CEO ambaye yuko kwenye technical firm ambaye anatakiwa pia I add kwenye skills zake ni leadership skills. Hatuwezi kufanya kila kitu sisi wenyewe. Hatuwezi kufanya kila kitu, kila section sisi wenyewe. Lazima tuwe na timu ambayo tunailead, lazima tugawe madaraka. Tugawe kazi kwa timu zetu. Ndio tunaweza tukaenda sawa. Kwa hiyo lazima tuwe na timu, lazima ujue una lead watu gani na how to lead, and uweze kugawa madaraka kwa wale subordinates, wale wasaidizi wako. Kitu kingine ambacho ni muhimu sana kuwa nacho, skills nyingine, ni bid management and tendering skills. Kwa sasa hivi mfano Tanzania, mode of procurement tulio nayo asilimia kubwa ni through tendering. Na tulikuwa tukitenda, tunajua tunatenda, lakini kumbe kuna skills ambazo ni very detailed ambazo unaweza ukazipata na zikaweza kunyanyua business yako na ukaweza ukawini zile tenders. Mimi mfano nimeweza kupata nafasi moja ya nimeparticipate kwenye, kuna section fulani ambayo iko kwenye Stanbic, wanafanya wa Stanbic bank, wanaita business incubator. They incubate the business. Kwa kweli yani tulikuwa transformed kwamba tulikuwa ndani ya box, kumbe tukitoka kuna vitu tunapata. Unajua kutenda, kumbe kuna vitu vipya kabisa ambavyo ulikuwa huvijui unavipata. Kwa hiyo nimepata, kwa mfano binafsi nimepata vitu vikubwa sana kutoka pale. Nilikuwa sijui namna ya kuweza hata kuandika executive summary ambayo inaweza ikamuonyesha yule ambaye ana evaluate tender, kwamba yule evaluator akajua kwamba huyu anaelewa nini ambacho anaenda kuoffer kwa customer. Kwamba executive summary tu akiread anajua moja kwa moja huyu anayetenda hii tenda anaelewa nini anaenda kufanya. Kwa hiyo kuna methodology mle, kuna approaches mle, namna ambavyo unaweza kwenda kuifanya ile tenda. Kwa hiyo binafsi mimi nimekuwa benefit pale. Through that ile training kwa kweli ilinifanya mimi nikaweza kupata hata tenda ambazo sikutarajia, kwa sababu we were about 15. Kuna one of the tender nili compete, tulikuwa about 15 companies, lakini among all the companies wana over 50 years in the experience. Through that ambavyo niliweza kupangilia ile tenda yangu, I won that tender. So tutoke ndani ya boxi, tuone kwamba kuna skills zingine ambazo uki-add inakuweza kukufanyaje kunyanyua biashara yako. Lakini pia nilijifunza kitu cha HSE, Health and Safety Occupation Skills. Very valuable skills. For example, for those technical companies, kwa mfano ya kwetu ya industrialization tunazofanya, lazima ujue kwamba sio tu kujua kwamba kuna safety na healthy precautions unatakiwa tuchukue, lakini sio tu kuvaa zile safety gears, kumbe tunatakiwa tuwepo pia na health and safety policy in our workplace. Kwa hiyo nafasi zetu, sehemu zetu za kazi zinatakiwa ziwepo na hivi vitu kama hivyo. Lazima kila wakati tuwe tuna go about it, tuna review kuona kwamba are we going through it, are we doing like what we were supposed to do. Kwa hiyo vitu kama hivyo, kucalculate riski, tumejifunza vitu kama hivyo. Na ni kweli unaweza ukachukua project ambayo hujui risk yake iko kwa ukubwa gani, lakini unaingia bila kujua kwamba utaweza kufanyaje. Sometimes project nyingi zina fail kuna kudelay kwa time kwa sababu ya kutokujua kwamba nini kinaweza kwenda kutokea pale. Kwa hiyo kwa kucalculate riski, unajua kabisa kwamba hapa naweza ku identify hazards ambazo zinaweza kutokea, lakini pia tunaweza kwenda ku eliminate riski ambazo zinaweza kwenda kutokea kwa kiwango gani. Kwa kufanya hivyo, project inaweza ikarani in a smooth way in a right time. Ni skills ambayo pia unatakiwa kuwa nayo. Yeah.
Asante sana. Thank you so much. Tumeambiwa kwamba we need to have health and safety occupation skills. Wengine ambao kwanza hamnazo kwenye kampuni zenu umeanza kujiuliza na kujikuna kichwa. Ana, asante sana kwa kututrigger hapo, lakini pia in terms of the listing the skills ambazo zinahitajika, asante sana. Labda niulize na hongera sana kwa Stanbic Bank kwa hii incubator ambayo imefungua milango not just kwa Ana lakini kwa wale ambao umewaajiri, ambao kwa ulivyosema, mjibu wa ulivyosema ni wanawake wengi wao ni wanawake. Swali langu ni hili, mlipokuwa mnaingia kwenye hii incubator, je, incubator ilikuwa ni ya kina dada tu?
Incubator ambayo tuliingia ilikuwa inahusisha kina dada na kina kaka.
Sawa sawa.
Lakini kwa sasa naona tena wametoa section nyingine ambayo ina involve wanawake tu.
Sawa sawa.
Yeah.
Kwenye kutafuta hizi mbinu, hizi skills, kwa mujibu wa experience yako, je, umeonaje mwitiko kwa upande wa wanawake kwenye wito kama huu, kwenye vitu kama hivyo? How is the reception upande wa wanawake? What is the enrollment rate kwenye such programs kuanzia mwanzo mpaka mwisho? Maana kuna kitu ambacho nadhani ni ilikuwa Mmexina au ilikuwa ni Mwawi, I think ulisema kwamba mna programs ambao wanawake wanaanza lakini hawaishii mwisho, wanaishia katikati. I think Mwawi ndio ulisema. Je, kwenye upande wa wanawake kuparticipate kwenye programs kama hizo, wewe unaonaje mwitikio wake, na labda una kipi cha kusema cha kuhimiza wanawake waendelee kushiriki kwenye programs kama hizi?
Asante. Mwitikio kwa kweli umekuwa ni mkubwa kwa sasa. Mwitikio umekuwa ni mkubwa. Wanawake wengi wamejitokeza kushiriki kwenye hizo capacity building. Yeah. Nimeona hilo kwenye hiyo incubation, business incubation. Lakini sasa nadhani tutoe au wahusika watoe nafasi zaidi kwa wanawake kuweza kushiriki, kwa sababu wengine wanaishia labda njiani. Kwa nini wanaishia njiani? Kuna vitu ambavyo viko hapo katikati. Kwa hiyo wahusika nadhani tutoe nafasi kwa wanawake waweze kushiriki zaidi, kwa sababu tunajua mwanamke ndio muhimili wa familia na ndio muhimili wa uchumi kwa sasa hivi. Kwa hiyo nadhani nafasi ikipewa zaidi kwa wanawake itaweza kulibeba taifa letu na kulifikisha sehemu ambayo tunafikiri tutakuwa tumefanikiwa kwa kiasi kikubwa.
Asante sana. Tunajua kwamba nafasi zimetolewa, so tunashukuru kwamba nafasi zipo. Labda tuweke pia chachu kwa wanawake sisi wenyewe kusema kwamba inabidi tuhimizane, to encourage one another, kuhakikisha kwamba tusiishie katikati. Pale tunapoona mwenzetu anataka kuishia katikati, jinsi gani, kwa namna gani ambayo tunaweza kumshika mkono kusema kwamba hiki kitu ni chetu, tuende nacho.
Na kwa kuongezea labda niseme kuna hii incubation ambayo inakuwa ni kama wanafanya kama ile wanasema business partnership. Yani wanaendelea kukupa capacity, yani wana follow up, wanakufanyia mentoring. Kwa hiyo it's like someone is following you in the back, so you have to move forward. Wanafanya kitu kama hicho ambacho kinamfanya mtu kila siku aone kwamba I have a task to do, I have a task to do. Kwa hiyo unaona kwamba unatamani kuendelea kwa sababu kuna mtu nyuma yako anakufanya, anakupush. Kwa hiyo hii mimi nimeipenda sana. Yeah.
Hongera sana kwa Stanbic Bank.
Yes.
Another incubation program 100%. Kama fursa zipo, kuna umuhimu wa kuzikamata na kuhakikisha kwamba tunazitumia mpaka mwisho wake. Sawa sawa, asante sana. Moja kwa moja, lastly but not least on our panel is the incredible Maria. Sasa uko nyuma sana, itabidi ni Digital entrepreneurship can be a powerful avenue for women's inclusion in the digital economy. With new business opportunities, efficiency gains, and better access to markets and global value chains. That is the fact. Yet women entrepreneurs are much less represented in the digital economy than men, especially in developing economies. For you who has worked across a plethora of sectors, even though there is there's insistence within the creative economy, you have worked across different areas. Maria, talk to us about your experiences as an entrepreneur yourself in using digital tools and how it has been a business case for you. How has that brought about success for you? How has that opened doors as well? Talk to us about your journey in using digital tools.
Okay. Asante, moderator. Kwa ufupi, nilianza safari yangu ya kuwa na hii kampuni ya masuala ya behavior change communication kwa kutumia sanaa. Safari yangu ilianza tangu nilikuwa mdogo, nilikuwa napenda sana sanaa. Nilikuwa napenda kufanya creativities. Hata nikiwa primary school, walimu wangu walikuwa wakiwa wanataka kuchora michoro ya mfano labda geography, biology, nilikuwa na tumwa mimi ndio nichore. Kwa hiyo nilikuwa napenda sana ubunifu tangu nikiwa niko primary school. Safari yangu ya kuanza hii kampuni ilikuja baada ya kujifunza kutoka kwa watu wengine. Sijawahi kusomea sanaa. Mimi nimesoma International Business Administration. Sijawahi kabisa kusomea sanaa popote, lakini ni kitu ambacho nilikuwa nakipenda sana na niliona kuna fursa kubwa sana mbele katika kujiendeleza mimi binafsi, lakini pia kuendeleza wanawake ambao wapo katika tasnia hiyo, hasa katika upande wa culture. Kwa hiyo nilibuni wazo la kuwa na kampuni ya behavior change communication kutokana na challenges ambazo zinatokea katika jamii. Kuna challenges nyingi sana katika angles tofauti tofauti kama afya, mazingira, usalama, mambo ya gender. Kwa hiyo nilibuni njia ya kufikia jamii katika kuhamasisha masuala mbalimbali yanayohusu masuala hayo ya kijamii. Kwa hiyo kupitia sanaa niliweza kuajiri wasanii ambao tunapokuwa na engagement kama hizo huwa tunafanya rehearsal kwa niaba ya taasisi husika ambayo inataka kufikisha ujumbe fulani katika jamii husika. Kwa hiyo tunaenda kuwafata walipo, either ni vijijini au labda ni mjini. Kwa hiyo tunatumia njia tofauti kama kutengeneza drama, theater performances, tunatumia nyimbo, tunatumia michezo tofauti tofauti ya sanaa. Kwa hiyo naweza kusema kwamba hakuna jambo ambalo mtu unaweza ukafanya mwenyewe bila kusaidiana na mwingine. Either unalikosa wewe, mwingine analo. Kwa hiyo naweza kusema kwamba teknolojia imetufanya to move so fast kutoka katika nilifanya kazi na taasisi nyingi kabla ya hapo. Nilifanya kazi tangu nimeanza kampuni, nimefanya kazi na taasisi tofauti tofauti za kitaifa na za kimataifa. Lakini mojawapo nilifanya kazi na taasisi ya T-Pesa, DigitALL. Tangu nimeanza kufanya kazi nao kuna kitu ambacho nilijifunza kupitia hapo kwamba maendeleo yoyote yanatokana na kuingia katika digital, naweza kusema hivyo. Tangu nilifanya kazi na T-Pesa kuna vitu nilijifunza vingi sana ambavyo pengine kabla ya hapo nilikuwa sijavijua. Kwa mfano, tunapokuwa katika shughuli zetu nyingi huwa zinahusisha sana masuala ya kutuma pesa ama kutumia internet ama kutumia bima. Kwa hiyo nilipoanza kufanya kazi na T-Pesa kuna vitu ambavyo nilijifunza vingi kupitia wao. Nilijikuta kwamba naingia katika ku save cost ya mahitaji yangu. Kwa mfano, tunapokuwa tunafanya transactions za pesa, mara nyingi tunabeba pesa tunaenda mjini kupeleka pesa benki, lakini kupitia T-Pesa nikajifunza kwamba kumbe sina haja ya kupoteza muda mwingi kwenda barabarani na pesa, nitembee na pesa mkononi. Kumbe naweza nikafanya miamala yangu kwa kupitia T-Pesa kwa makato ya chini. Kwa hiyo nje hapo pia matumizi ya T-Bima. Nilijikuta kwamba kabla hapo nilikuwa natumia pesa nyingi sana kwenye kufanya miamala ya kulipia watu wanapopata labda ajali ama nini, lakini nilipoanza kuingia kwenye nilijifunza matumizi ya T-Bima, wafanyakazi wangu wote nilioingiza kwenye hiyo system na mpaka sasa hivi sipati shida, yani sipati shida ya kumove na kupoteza muda mrefu kwenye masuala kama hayo. Kwa hiyo nawashukuru sana T-Pesa kwa kunifumbua macho kwenye hilo. Pia naweza kusema kwamba teknolojia imetufanya kwamba tumemove so fast. Kivipi? Kabla ya hapa tulikuwa tunafanya matamasha yetu kwa live, yani tunafanya as in ground activations, lakini kuna baadhi ya maeneo unaweza kuta labda hasa vijijini tunafanya hizi ground activations mara nyingi huwa ni mchana, lakini sasa jioni inapofika lazima kuna wale ambao wanakuwa wameenda mashambani na nini. Kwa hiyo tunajaribu kutumia digital katika kuwafikia jamii. Kwa hiyo huwa tunatengeneza short films ambazo zinahusisha masuala ya kijamii kama afya, mazingira na kadhalika. Kwa hiyo tunatumia short films za uelimishaji kwa kutumia projectors hasa vijijini mida ya jioni, huwa tunafanya hivyo. Lakini pia tunatumia pia tools kama hizo za kidijitali kama mitandao ya kijamii katika kuhamasisha, katika kuonesha kazi zetu. Pia tunatumia YouTube na vitu kama hivyo. Kwa unaweza kusema kwamba teknolojia imetufanya tukue zaidi tofauti na tulivyokuwa zamani, lakini kama nilivyosema awali kwamba uwezi kwenda peke yako bila kuhusisha mtu mwingine. Unachokosa wewe mwingine anacho. Kwa sisi bila kuwa na partnership na T-Pesa tusingeweza kupata unafuu katika baadhi ya mambo, lakini kwa sababu tumeshirikiana nao tunapata unafuu zaidi.
Thank you very much. Another round of applause for Maria. Just to quickly summarize what she said. So she's talked about her journey and the fact that she was always interested in the creative space since she was young. Even though she had that interest, it's not something that she ever studied. One of the things that is very predominant in TZ, as well as other countries I do know, is the creative space is linked to promiscuity for girls. Wambia ukitaka kuingia kwenye tasnia ya sanaa, familia nyingi wanakuambia ni umalaya, unaenda kufanya nini? Kazi hamna. Those are some of the preconceived notions. However, she has a history in international business and community development. That's what she studied. But then she had an idea to jump into to open up a behavioral change communications company, because it would allow her to not only employ youth, but it would also allow her to include them in development projects, as well as tap into the opportunity that she saw working in international business and community development. There are some opportunities that she saw, and she felt that this company would be able to leverage on those opportunities and become a solution to them. So one of the things that they do, so she brings in youth, they work together, have skits and plays, they showcase them to the communities outside of the cities, making sure that they are engaging them with, social behavioral change communications, messaging in various thematic areas. We haven't gone into the areas that they touch on, but in various thematic areas. In terms of digital, it's helped her save costs in terms of transaction costs as she operates her business, but she's also touched on insurance and how the different insurance packages under the insurance package under T-Pesa, T-Bima, has helped her also save costs on insurance for her employees. She's also talked about how it's also rapidly opened the doors for her, because she's been able to be introduced to a plethora of opportunities that are available on the digital space. But one of the really key things that she's touched on is in villages or in areas where they cannot have plays, or where they cannot actually meet their target audience in the afternoons, they've been able to leverage on short films and use projectors to still make sure that those communities are still reached with social behavioral change communication messaging. But they're also using social media and YouTube. And she finished with reminding us of this, and I'm going to shorten that with bringing you along. There's an African saying that says, if you want to go fast, go. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. We say it together, Africa. No, this is we want our voices to be heard far. So we shall say it together. If you want to go fast, you go. If you want to go far, go together. And that is brings us to, this has been a first round of questioning, but we have had a lot of probing questions within. Tumejifunza vitu vingi, tumesikia vitu vingi. There's been a lot of encouragement, but I'd like to open it up to the audience. I'm looking for 2 or 3 really key questions and perhaps points of encouragement. So please do put your hand up so we can bring you in. Now, as you're thinking of whether you should be the first to raise your hand and you're waiting for somebody to do it before you, I'm going to ask I'm going to ask Mwawi a question. Mwawi, within the ICT space, from everything that we've heard, we're talking about digital and how that brings, and how we can leverage on innovation and technology for gender equality. What would your message to women be? Right? I'm going to ask you to think about it. You don't have to answer it now. It's short. Okay, what's your message to women?
Okay, my message to women is this. First of all, the problem is not a problem, but failing to find a light solution to the problem is the greatest problem of all. We are always speaking about social norms, infrastructure, and all of that. Those are the problem, but not a problem. The problem is how are we tackling those problems so that we can have light solution to the end. For instance, my problem was I didn't get a chance to study science, but I had to find a solution. And the solution was, when I had a company, I started a program known as ICT for Girls, teaching secondary school girls who are studying whatever they study to use technology, including public libraries, how they can leverage technology, how they can access information, and all those stuffs. That was solution to what I have passing through so that others could not pass through the same problem. To me, always I believe technology is life. It's not science. Technology is life, because from the morning to the day you are going to sleep, there is some technology happened so that your life can be eased.
Thank you very much. Technology is life. Technology is not science. So you should start thinking about technology in this cocooned box of science. Thank you very much. The problem is not the problem. The problem is not being able to find the solution to the problem. And my problem right now is I don't see any hands. So the solution is I'm going to ask again. I hope that works. Do we have any questions? We have one here, and then we have 2. We're just going to take the 2. Okay, so we're going to take 3. We're going to have 1 here. We're going to have the second with the lady right there, and we're going to have right here with Ms. Madede.
Thank you. Mine is not actually a question. It's to point her in a particular direction. She said that, I didn't study IT in university. In fact, the most impactful, successful, richest human beings on the planet are guys who didn't do university. So that should not be any kind of obstacle. So, they've given us, even when we're telling children, don't listen to what Bill Gates did, try and finish school. Elon Musk, don't listen to what he did, try and finish school. These guys dropped out of school first year. Tom Allen, who is passed now, who started Microsoft with Bill Gates, they didn't go to school. The guy who started Oracle, they didn't finish school. The guy who started Facebook, they didn't complete school. So don't let that be a subject of concern. I just want to say that.
Thank you. Thank you. Who else?
Good morning, everybody. My name is Helen Tusime. I'm a businesswoman and a pastorate. My question goes to Leah. It's a complementary to what she said, because when she said that she was a cleaner and now a producer, everybody had a feeling like, wow, that's beautiful. But what I want to put on the ground is that whatever as a woman you need to do is inside of you. That's why business, IT, whatever it is, it has no feeling. You must understand who you are and be able to work and do something that will bring an impact. The lady said she loves mathematics. The way she put it as she was presenting, I was sitting with my fellow ladies, we all looked at each other and said, she believes in what she loves. And when she speaks, and she said, my partner had to support me and we do what we're doing. When you know what you want to do and believe in yourself and be able to look for information, the sky is the limit. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Irene Madejem Lola, and amongst the many things that I do, I'm also a farmer. So my question is actually directed to Dada Victoria Munokuzi. Bringing back a little bit of a context, as a farmer in Dodoma, my sister and I will own a vineyard, and coming to realize that during harvest time, it's very labor intensive, and you know, many people who come there for harvesting are actually women. So there's this one day I was actually at the farm and I see all these ladies holding their babies, really, really young babies. And I was there and I was just looking at these women. I'm like, yes, I need to employ the women and they need to do this job because it's also something for them. But I was just reflecting in terms of why should I have these babies working with women under the sun? And you start thinking of all these things that we have in the cities, and it's not the luxury that you have. So it was really a big question, and this is like a challenge that I want to pose to you because you introduced yourself as the member of TAHA, Tanzania Horticultural Association, which you know, has a lot of women participating there. So it was a really big question because I was like, okay, so what do I do? Do I just release these women? Do I give these women an opportunity? Yes, I did give the women opportunity. It really pained me to see those babies at the back and the sun and all of that. So on behalf of TAHA, which is an association for horticulture, the farmers in horticulture, what kind of stuff are you actually starting to reflect, especially in the context of rural women? Because we talk so much in these rooms. We're like, okay, having a nursery room in the office and stuff like that. But let's just bring it home in the context of those women. What are some of the ideas do you have? Thank you.
So that's great. That brings up the questions and the comments from the audience. The first one was schools should not be a hindrance. We got incredible examples of Elon Musk and the rest. One of the things that I just want to say, I'm not necessarily poking IFC, don't see me next time when I knock, don't chase me away. But I was going to, the conversation of equity, that's why it's so important right now. Because equity would put Elon Musk where he was when he started, very different from where perhaps a girl in Tanzania who might be even in university is. Right? His opportunities and the life circumstances that got him to where he was, even before perhaps he went into high school, might be very incomparable to a young woman, even after she has actually got her master's in Tanzania. So there's that, you know, even as we're comparing, even though it's a great reminder to have, we also have to reflect on context and make sure that we are pushing for equity. And that point is so important, and I'm so grateful that you brought it up, because that brings in why embracing equity is so important, so that the case study of Elon Musk can also be a case study for a young girl in Tanzania who has an equal dream, right? So that I just wanted to point that out. And then there was also something that was brought up by Ms. Helen Dusime. Whatever I was, in terms of the importance of believing in yourself, believing in what you're going to do. You see, I'm speaking to give you time to take notes. You're arranging your response. Okay. So the importance of belief in self-identity, it cannot be overstated. So thank you for bringing that up. I don't know if you'd want to speak to that. Okay. So and I was just going to ask if you wanted to increase. Okay, she 100%, we're all with that. And then the last one is more so the question to Ms. Mwanakuzi. Karibu sana.
Thank you so much, Irene. You know, like it might be a concern to you, but for them it's like that's the way they are working. But we are going to take on it because I don't think for you it was like shocking. You see women are working with kids there, but for them it's a norm. But thank you so much for bringing it up because it was not a major concern for us, but I think it's a very important point that we are going to take and work on it. If you allow me, I just wanted to...
Thank you, Ms. Monokuzi. But to everyone, working with a baby at the back is a human right concern. It should concern all of us, and we should do something. What I know, in those big farms in West Africa, cocoa, as well as in the farms where they're cultivating coffee, Nestle and partners, they went ahead into making sure that there are baby areas, there are children areas, including schools where you leave the baby and then you go to work. So working with the baby at the back, it should be a concern. Thank you.
Okay. I'm going to, do you want to finish before 1 second?
Is there something else?
I think it's something that's related.
Okay.
Would you like to take them both and then you can just come and conclude? Okay.
I think she does not have to respond, but I just wanted to also align to what Ms. Masha from UN Global Compact. I'm from UN Women, and I wanted to raise that, as she was speaking, that we have these discussions, for instance, in the boardroom, we call upon the private sector, but actually in the Women's Empowerment Principle, there is also a call for the private sector, but also the community to have similar programs in the rural areas. And when we talk about the rural areas, it's also the context where we're bringing the women farmers, women in the agriculture, but we also had remarks from Generation Equality. Generation Equality, one of the commitments is actually to transform the care economy, and that is part of the care agenda. So it's at the schools levels, for instance, in urban settings, but also in rural settings. And actually in the agriculture sector, one of the very facts as to why there is a gender gap in the agriculture sector actually is also because of the unpaid care work and domestic work, including taking care of the children. So I agree with Marcia, UN Global Compact, but also UN Women and UN at large. That is actually a human rights issue, and it's in our strategy, even in the UN cooperative framework, but also even UN Women's strategy and the arrangements in Tanzania.
Thank you very much, Karibu, Ms. Mwanakuzi.
Yeah, thank you so much for your consent. As I said before that we are going to take and see how we can work on it, because now we really need to do the research to know exactly what kind of crops, because you know, like agriculture is really diversified and even the farmers are diversified. But it's a concern that we really need to work on it, and we'll give you feedback on that.
Thank you very much for that graceful response. 100%. We take it on and we see how we can definitely create solutions for it. And with that, I'm going to ask each one of our panelists to give us a final statement. Maneno ya mwisho. If it's a word of encouragement, if it's a call to action, if it's a thought that you have around the theme, gender equality, embracing equity. Karibuni, sekunde kama 30 for your final words, tafadhali. We're going to start with Leah and move all the way to Mario. Okay.
Okay, and I just wanted to say something about women. Actually, I applaud Leah. Have you seen her story? So there is nothing that women cannot do, because when you talk about digital and innovation transformation, always people think that rural women cannot do. So what we are going to do when they have access to these mobile phones, we are going really to do digitalization, literacy for them, because having a phone is one thing, but navigate through it is another thing. And it's not that hard if you aspire to do it. And that's what we are going to do. But I also want to give you the data now for this app. Women users are just 15%, but we're going to encourage them because those that have already done, they have a story to tell. There is a woman in Arusha who used that app to get market prices and production tips that gave her onions the quality that were accepted in the market. So I just want, and as I said, I would really appreciate if everyone from here having that app, and you can as well be ambassadors to it. Thank you.
What's the app?
Tariq.
Tari. So basically we can access Tari on Google.
From Play Store, you can just Google Tariq, but for iPhone, unfortunately, it's not yet. You can use it, the website too.
T-A-R-I.
T-A-R-I-C.
T-A-R-I-C, Tariq. Thank you very much, Ms. Manukuzi. A hand of applause to her, tafadhali. Lea, karibu. Tunafunga mazungumzo. So, kama kuna chochote ambacho unacho cha kusema, kuhimiza, kushukuru.
Yeah, mimi nachosema tu wanawake tusikate tamaa, kwa sababu kama mimi ningekata tamaa leo nisingekuwepo hapa na nisingeweza kuajiri watu wengine nyuma yangu. Yaani tusikate tamaa, ni mwiko. Kila mtu akisha mtenda ndoto yake. Cha mwisho, don't miss kuangalia Jua Kali DSTV saa 3:30 kila Jumatano mpaka Jumapili, usikose. Mambo ni moto DSTV Tanzania.
Okay, thank you. For me, I would want to encourage women entrepreneurs to run their business with a connection with the startup ecosystem. Many women, they are running their business, but they're running their business in the closet. Like they are working with their team, they're working with their clients, but they're not connected with the ecosystem. For instance, I have participated on this accelerator program called the Forward Accelerator, which was run by Sandbox and Warioba Ventures. I've learned a lot. I've learned the difference of running the business in the closet and learning the business where I'm connected with other players in the ecosystem. Because these accelerators, they connect you with investors, they connect you with the mentors who they can map your business development. Because I've been in business for more than 7 years, and the early years it was struggles. But when I've started to connect with other players, I could see what should I do, what should I not do so that I can run my business. So my encouragement to women entrepreneurs, be out there, connect with other entrepreneurs, connect with other players who are trying to solve these startup challenges.
A hand of applause to Maxina. I'm just going to put a call to the Tanzania Startup Association, which is an incredible association that does exactly what you're saying, can also link women to those accelerators right there. Karibu sana, Wawi.
I can conclude by saying that here we have a lot of women sitting here, have a lot of information, knowing a lot of women rights. If we'll keep on just having sessions like this, speaking like this, and then go home, without going back to the grassroots, where those women who are feeling that gender inequalities are, our gathering will be nothing. So I call upon all women who are here. When you go to your village or when you go to visit your parents, your relatives, there at the grassroots, there at the village, there at the mtaa, please inform them about gender inequalities.
Asante. Na mimi ni conclude kwa I'm ringing a bell to the financial institutions that they may see the way they can start soft loans or unsecured loans for especially for the women's, as we know that many of the women's, they are not having collaterals. So I'm ringing a bell to that institutions, those financial institutions, so that they can be watakuwa chachu ya wanawake kunyanyua wanawake kwenye biashara kwa kuwa na soft loans. Number 2, ni pende kuongea kwa wanawake wenzangu. We have to work very smart. Wanasema hada, lakini to work very smart na tupambane, kwa sababu hata kwenye Biblia tumeona namna ambavyo watu walivyokuwa wanapambana kuweza kumfikia Yesu ili kupata uponyaji. Wengine Bartolomeo walipanda paka darini ili kuweza kumfikia Yesu. Mtu mfupi alipanda juu ya mti ili aweze kumuona Yesu, Yesu akamuona. Sasa sisi tunafanya nini ili kuweza kufikia malengo yetu? Tupambane. Mafanikio hayaji kirahisi. Lazima kuwepo na mapambano hapa katikati ndio uweze kufikia mafanikio. Kwa hiyo na wa encourage wanawake wenzangu, especially girls ambao wanakuja sasa, waingie vizuri kwenye engineering kwa sababu inawezekana. Cha msingi ni kuwa tuna malengo na kutia bidii kwenye kile ambacho unakiamini. Asante sana.
Asante. Mimi kwa kuconclude nilikuwa na wahamasisha wanawake wenzangu kwamba unapokuwa na ndoto yako ianze, usisubiri kesho. Kwa sababu ukisema ushirikishe watu watakuangusha, watakurudisha nyuma, lakini mimi ninachowahamasisha ni kwamba unapokuwa na ndoto yako ianze. Lakini pia usianze tu kwa kurupuka. Tuwe na utaratibu wa kufanya research na kuangalia ni nani naweza nikashikana naye mkono nika move. Kwa hiyo kingine ambacho naweza pia nika conclude ni kwamba na hamasisha taasisi husika kufanya zaidi awareness campaigns, especially kwa watoto wa kike kuanzia mashuleni na kwa wanawake juu ya kuwa wajasiriamali bora. Pia taasisi hizo husika zinahusisha pia financial institutions, NGOs ambazo zinahusika na masuala ya maendeleo ya wanawake. Mimi niko tayari kushirikiana na nyinyi katika kufanya hilo ili kusaidia kukuza uelewa kwa watoto wa kike na kwa wanawake juu ya masuala ya biashara na maendeleo ya kidijitali.
Asante sana. Hello, hello. Yes, wonderful. A massive round of applause for all our panelists. We have reached the end of the panel. I'm going to ask for the panelists. Naombeni msimame hapa tupige picha moja matata kabisa. Mpige picha moja matata. Hongereni sana. Tabasamu, tabasamu, tunasherehekea. Jamani. Yes, there we go. A hand of applause to our incredible panelists. We had with us, karibuni, we can take our seats. We had with us Maria Msome, Engineer Ananjavila, Ms. Mwawi Lea Mlokano, Ms. Leah Richard Mwendamseke, Ms. Victoria Mwanakuzi, as well as Maxina Daniel. Congratulations to all the panelists as well as the organizers that brought up this incredible panel. And this is a reminder of which building we're in, where we are. This is a quick reminder. All right, I have been asked to call upon Ms. Nyalali to present a little bit, to share with us a brief presentation. Karibu, a hand of applause to him.
Hello, I think now it's good afternoon. Still morning, good morning. Yeah, my very short presentation will be in two parts. The first part will be a bit too technical. Some of you may find it difficult to understand, but I'll try to make it as simple as possible. The second part, I'm going now to align the role of the stock exchange and what we are doing today. So in my first part, you can see the board. That's our flagship board, and it basically indicates the prices of all the equities or companies which have been listed at the exchange. Flagship meaning that our share, the company which have issued shares are the one which we look at the flagship product in our market. But also we have government bonds, we have corporate bonds, but these are companies which have been listed. We have 28 companies. Of those 28, 22 are local companies, and the rest 6 are Kenyan companies. So at the mother today, the Women International Day, if you look at the exchange at the mother, these are our children. Children with 2 different fathers, from Kenya and from Tanzania, but mother is a mother. Now, the essence of having a stock exchange, there are 2 roles which is played by the stock exchange. The first main role is pricing. We have a market so that to facilitate trading of securities and to get the benchmark price of all the security of each security which is listed. So as you can see here, you find that there's CRDB, that's one of the major banks. There is a DCB, the DAC also is a public listed company, is a self-listed, and so forth. So all these stocks are traded in the market, and we have the pricing of each stock in the market. The essence of having the trading in a stock exchange is to make this process being public. Public means that it will enhance transparency, and by doing that, you get a fair price. And that fair price is the one which is benchmarked by investors, by issuer, and all other stakeholders. That's one. Our role is to facilitate pricing. The second role, and that also will lead us to the second part of our presentation, is on liquidity. Liquidity is to make that asset which you have invested in to be easier to either sell or to buy at a fair price, but without with mitigating cost of that transaction. Meaning that when you buy something or when you sell, when you buy, you don't need to buy at a cost which is marginally higher than what you expect. Or when you sell, you don't want to sell at a price which is marginally lower than what you expect. So the market, when it's public, it allows you to trade, but with a minimum liquidity cost of your transaction. So that's basically it for the first part of my presentation. Now for the second part, and now that you have to align that with our membership of World Federation of Exchange. DSC is a member of World Federation of Exchange, and World Federation of Exchange, together with the UN, they have initiative, sustainability initiative, these are UN ESG goals, and we've come together. The essence for the exchange to participate in this initiative. First, we are looking at the sustainability reporting requirement for the companies which have been listed. This company need to indicate how they comply with the sustainability reporting, include gender equality. And by doing that, we make these companies being good citizen. Even company sometimes become good citizen. Become a good citizen of our country and the world. So the exchange require all these companies to have sustainability reporting in their financial reporting and other company disclosure. That's one. On the second thing, now that come on the liquidity part of it. And you need to listen very carefully. On the liquidity part, because the liquidity cost goes down considerably when you come to the exchange, it meaning that even the pricing reflect the reality of the economy. And this is the main reason. When an issuer, being the government, being a corporate, issue a security in the market, it means that they need to raise capital or financing. But they need to do it in a very cheap manner. They don't want to. They don't want either to get less what they expect or to borrow. If they are borrowing, for example, the government, to borrow at a very high cost. Now, the relevance of the exchange, particularly for the government, you can see it on the recent development when the government bonds rate went down. The interest rate went down. It means that the government now is borrowing cheaply from the market. And the reason being that the government bonds are traded in a stock exchange. And the stock exchange, by establishing the fair price, fair price, allow the government to use the stock exchange price as the benchmark and lower the interest rate accordingly. So now the government is borrowing at the cheaper rate. But what's the impact of that? The impact of that is that even the private sector, which also invest in the government bonds, because the rates of the government bonds have gone down, the private sector, particularly banks, even themselves now, they lower their rate accordingly. And that allow even like NMB, when they issue a Jasiri bond, you've heard about the Jasiri bond, they borrow money from the public at a cheaper rate. So the on lending to the private sector also become cheap. You see? So you can connect now the role of the stock exchange. It establishes a fair benchmark price for all these stocks and bonds. And this has an impact on the benchmark price which is used by all issuers, even the banks when they come to borrow from the market. Of recently, there have been a lot of debt instruments which have been issued by different banks. Yeah, recently we had NBC. This year we had Kenya Commercial Bank, KCB, also come and issue a Sukuk bond, the first Islamic compliant bond. And the main reason is not only that the government now has withdrawn the corporate tax on the coupon which have been paid, but the benchmark rates which are used by the government also has gone down, which allows now the funds to be raised cheaply in a stock exchange. So the key issue which you can come with, from this small session is that the stock exchange, our main role is to facilitate pricing, and the pricing is for all, government and the stocks, and that give a benchmark in which that all stakeholders in the financial market, they may use either to invest or to borrow or to raise capital, but also to minimize liquidity cost, and that make it cheaper to trade or to exit in through the secondary market. So in a short, our stock exchange plays a major role in making sure that the private sector, particularly the banks, facilitate financing of a private sector, including SMEs, which also includes women groups, to borrow at a very cheap rate. That's one. But also to ensure the companies which are listed comply with the UN sustainability reporting requirement and make them good citizens of our country. Thank you very much.
So the moment I sat down, I was able to count the zeros. The zeros are interesting, but thank you so much for that presentation. Also bringing us more so to, I think most of what you shared is also just shedding a light on the financial market, and how we can engage, and how it relates to this conversation we're having today, right? Because that relation, sometimes it's really hard to think about how those intertwine, but thank you so much for shedding that light. And without further ado, what I'm going to do is ask the incredible Miss Masha Makata-Yambi, who is the Executive Director. I'm going to take a pause. And this pause, I'm going to ask you to talk to your neighbor as I step down to get updated. As with technology, the app has to reboot. Coming right back. Ladies and gentlemen, how many of you are on Instagram? All right, thank you very much. You know how when there was an update of Instagram and there's a way you could not take a selfie, you wouldn't have the filters on stories? So then you have to update Instagram for you to have the updated version that could allow you to take the selfie. So I made the mistake of not updating my agenda. And so I didn't have the updated version of the selfie that now allows me to do what I need to do, which is ensure that we are in line with the current release of the agenda. All right? And so without further ado, I'm going to ask to the stage a man who is a chief executive of a bank we've heard a lot about. We've heard about their incubator and the incredible work that has opened doors for Engineer Anna and so many others. None other than Mr. Kevin Wingfield, who is the chief executive for Stanbic Bank. A hand of applause, please.
It's almost about as Mchana, I think. Good afternoon. If you will indulge me, I'm not going to go through all the protocols. I know we're well over time, so I'll try and move quite quickly. Other than to recognise the honoured guests and speakers, it's certainly humbling and an honour for me to be here today and to have experienced some of the conversations, some of the amazing stories that we heard from the 6 most amazing women this morning. I've honored enough to have engaged with, as you heard, 1 or 2 in our incubator program, which is really an important piece of what we're trying to do as a bank, as a small contribution to driving I guess growth of small businesses, but with a very clear support and focus on women in business and supporting them to grow their businesses. I think as we reflect on the theme, it's gone now, but digital innovation and technology for gender equality, I think the conversations we've had today have I think really left us with some thoughts, have certainly I think provoked us in terms of what we need to do more of. I think we've got a few things to take away, and I loved some of the comments around, the closing comments around, it's all very well to sit here and have a conversation, but how do we take it back to our real worlds, whether it's our businesses, our communities, our families, etc., and continue the conversation and have the conversation. It was really enlightening for me to hear some of the, and I guess one doesn't realize until you hear from real people and real women experiencing some of the challenges, what some of these challenges are. And certainly I go away with a very different perspective of maybe the things that I need to do with, personally, professionally, and in my organization to think differently about some of the things that and projects that we're working on. I think just from a Stanbic perspective, we're the largest banking group on the continent. We recently celebrated as a group 160 years in working or operating on the continent, and our bank here in Tanzania has been here 27 years. I think during that time we've remained committed to driving equality initiatives, whether that's gender empowerment, gender lens, investing in the gender lens, female entrepreneurship, financial inclusion and skill development and leadership. It was interesting listening to Engineer Anna talk about access to finance. And certainly I think we need to do more as an industry to provide access to particularly startups and emerging businesses that women are trying to grow, because at the end of the day, those are going to be a significant driver of the growth of our economies on the continent. We all know that many small businesses are conceived and run by women and grown by women, and given some of the real challenges that they face, how can we all do our pieces to make sure that we can make it easier for them to grow their businesses and provide for them and their families? And I think one of those, from a financial institution's perspective, besides providing skills, is how can we do more to provide access to finance? We are, as a bank, looking at introducing more solutions and products that will be well suited to support SMEs, but particularly SMEs driven and managed by women. I think at a bank level, at a group level, we have a number of initiatives that we have been driving. He for she, we have something called Blue Heels, which supports women's development and growth within our organization. And it allows our women leaders to continue to flourish and grow their careers within the organization. I think one other thing that I'm quite proud of, and it's great that we're here with UN Women, but as a banking group, we are a partner with UN Women in the establishment of the African Women's Impact Fund, which is a fund that is being created to invest or to build an investment of about $1 billion that will be managed by women fund managers. Because I think if you look at some of the statistics, so we talked about the stock exchange, so we talk about financial services generally, but if you look specifically in asset management, the number of women involved in managing funds is less than, it was just I think around 1% globally. And so how can you have a male-dominated asset management industry really thinking sensibly about what are the projects that we need to be doing to support development of women and investing in women initiatives? So I think that's a really exciting development that we involved in. I think at a country level, we have our Ignite program, which we are in our third phase of, which again is an internal program we have to develop and provide access to opportunities and to skills to grow our women and provide them with an opportunity to progress in our organization. I think we talked a little bit about our incubator. So we started that as we have incubators across a number of the countries in which we operate. But I was previously lucky enough to be involved in our business in Uganda, where we started the incubator. We had many business owners going through that incubator and seeing the benefits of being able to build business skills, and with a particular focus, as I say, in supporting women. That's something now we're trying to build and develop here in Tanzania. So we're really excited about that. And again, you heard Anna speak about the opportunities and being able to bid for contracts finally and actually winning those contracts, which is really exciting. And we're certainly looking to build that program and continue to look to work with many partners to actually build that program. So I think I believe we all can play a part in making progress on the road to equality. I think it will require all of us to commit to playing our part, as I said, as individuals and as organizations, and to achieve this and to adopt a culture that really doesn't just talk about, but actually really demonstrates a true commitment to diversity and building a culture of opportunity and fairness. I loved there was a comment around the link between gender diversity and wellness that Patricia spoke about. I think that's another takeaway that I've kind of walked away with and think, how can we link those two better within our organization? So I think we need to recognize that there are many challenges that we face in this journey, but I think there's a real commitment, and we need to continue to drive that forward. We spoke a little bit about quite a lot about technology, and it's the key part of our theme today. But no doubt that technology is one of the key drivers that is going to support women's economic empowerment, and it calls for us to strengthen our efforts to make sure that we provide equal access to economic opportunities and digital technologies that will be essential to support women and to end poverty and boost prosperity. So I think really in conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, I'd just like to say that this agenda must remain a priority for us as we work to effect lasting change. And really, again, I think I would echo the request to let's not walk out of this room saying we've had a nice conversation. Let's continue the conversation with all of our the people that we can touch every single day. And let's do our part to make sure that this is not just speak, it's actually it's real action and real outcomes that we see coming from conversations like this. So I'd really just finally like to thank all of the parties that were involved in making this event happen today, but in particular I think the UN Women and the Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange. Thank you very, very much for having us and allowing us to be part of this event and this initiative. And we look forward to partnering with all of you, both as a bank, but I think more broadly as an industry, as we really, really take this theme forward, this important agenda forward. Thank you very much. Asante sana.
Alrighty then. Thank you very much. Not just speak, real actions and real outcomes. And with that, to usher us into real actions and real outcomes, I'd like to now, rightly so, welcome Ms. Masha Makatayambi, who is the Executive Director for the Global Network Tanzania, Global Compact Network Tanzania.
Thank you so much, Kalila. It's a great honor to have a moderator like you. We have been very well entertained. We truly appreciate it. It has been very lively. And again, thank you to you all. Asanteni sana. My call today, for now, is not to continue to stand between yourselves and that space there, but again, to also communicate who has been behind all this. So I will be requesting my big boss in the country, Zlatan, Uje, come in front. Zlatan, yes, you use the safest route. We do have some incredible partnership with the local team, whereas, for your information, being the team lead for the Ring the Bell in country, as you know that we do have, of course, UN Women, we do have the Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange, as well as the International Finance Corporation. But again, we also brought on board these colleagues. Stanbic Bank, and of course, TTCL, Tanzania Telecommunications. Thank you very much. Asante Lulu, asante for the partnership. Come through the safety way. Having said that, that then will be done with this. But again, it's a call now, because I know around the room, we do have quite a number
Asante sana. Asante. Asante. Say signed by that. Asante. Thank you, Zlatan. We do have around the room quite a number of CEOs. And year by year, we have continued to talk about WEPs, Women Empowerment Principles. And again, in the past, we even used to have a board where we sign. But again, our numbers as a country have not really gone up. Why? Because we have been signing, we have not taken action into registering ourselves and to uploading those principles that we say we believe in. And it might mean that we don't even take chance to evaluate ourselves on how truly we have gone as far as the women empowerment principles are concerned. So today, we felt that it's an opportunity as symbolic by, again, Stanbic, Kevin, you'll sign these for us and you'll make sure that you upload them into the www.weps.org. And again, all other CEOs will also follow suit. But again, as a symbolic, allow me to present this to you right now. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Please. Having said that, I cannot forget a call that I have and have been mandated by the government of Tanzania, whereas we as Global Compact Network Tanzania, we have been mandated to make sure that the private sector, in whatever, whichever, wherever angle they are, whatever they're doing, within the space of SDG, Sustainable Development Goals, we take chance to be part of the national report, which is a voluntary. So being voluntary doesn't mean you should be at lax. Being voluntary, you should be active in showing what you're doing. It's an opportunity for you to be part of this wagon. The train has already started the motion. Be part of it. Log into our website. There are small address to be remembered. So our website is just www.globalcompacttz.org. Up there, you'll find a click to make, and this is none other but VNR SDG. Click there, you'll be welcomed by a form, and you interact with that form, and voila, you are there. Fill in, make sure you truly take that space to share with us what you're doing. And by doing that, you'll not only be part of the VNR report, but also you'll be part of our very prestigious and first in this land of Tanzania, Business SDG Awards, which have already been launched on the 17th of last month, but these are going to run on the 28th of April. And I believe everybody in the room will be there. Plan not to miss, but be part of that opportunity to report on what you're doing, not only on goal number 5, but on any goal around the spectrum of goal 1 to 17. Having said that, asanteni sana, karibuni sana. It has been a pleasure to have you all here. Asanteni.
And voila. And voila, we are at the end of our event for today. Congratulations, everybody, for being here. But right before we get to food, we have to do an all-important task that without it, we cannot confirm that the event actually happened. And this is nothing other than photos. So I'm going to ask all the partners. I'm going to ask IFC. Mr. Frank Gilroy. I'm going to ask Ms. Masha Makata Yambi. I'm going to ask Ms. Mary from DSC. and I'm going to ask Ms. Hodan from UN Women to come through for a photo. And then within that photo, we're also going to have Mr. Wingfield from Stanbic Bank, as well as a representative of TTCL. Please come to the stage so we can take a round of photos. Kamziki kutupeleka kwenye katabasamu cha picha.
You need more of it.
All right, right in the middle of the... Miss Latifa. The guest of honor could we have the guest of honor stand right in the middle? May I please ask for the panelists to join them on stage? Panelists? May I ask for our panelists to join them on stage? Maxina, Maria, Mwawi, Victoria, Leah, Engineer Anna. Pardon. Ambassador. May I ask Madam Ambassador from Sweden to join them on stage as well? Okay, so let's around. So it would be a little bit of a tighter squeeze. 2 rows, that works. Upande ule wa pili. Nende upande ule wa pili. We can have 2 rows. We can have the taller ones towards the back. All right, thank you so much to all the panelists. To just the panelists, may we please, to our leadership team, could I ask just your allowance? I'm going to ask for your teams to join you for a photo. So the teams from IFC-RT, Anna, this is you, teams from GN, Global Compact Network, Tanzania, teams from Stanbic, team from, it would be a large photo, as well as a team from DSE who were involved in the preparations. Please come through and join the team on stage. For everybody else, a massive round of applause to this team working in the background to make sure that today happened, to make sure that you are catered for, the ones who are never seen, but we want to see them. Karibuni sana. It takes a village. It takes a village. All right. Okay, we're missing one person, Lillian. And then I'm going to scooch right in the middle. We have CEOs around, representatives of companies, to the CEOs around. All the CEOs who'd like to join in, may I please invite you to take a photo. All the CEOs around. Okay, so there's space on the other side. On the other side. You won't be seen hamtaonekana upande huu, so maybe we can have people at the back, the taller ones. We can have some at the back. Oh, we can have more of a carve, yes. All right. All right, thank you very much. To all the CEOs, as you're coming down, please, I want to make sure that you have taken your forms. We're done with all the photos. Thank you so much to all our leadership team, directors from our partner organizations, Mr. Frank Aljalori, Ms. Marsha Makatayambi, Ms. Mary from DSC. Asanteni sana. Yeah, that's what we're doing. All right, and with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Just 1 second, 1 second. Hello, 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 hello. Embracing equity, embracing equity. And with that, we have come to the end of our Ring the Bell for Gender Equality 2023 event. Asanteni sana, a hand of applause to all of you for being here. We have done it. I would like to invite you over to breakfast, or this is going to be brunch that is being served behind this banner here. Karibuni sana. My name is Halila Kelsmboy, and I was your moderator and host for today. Asanteni sana. Wonderful day. Happy International Women's Day.
Jinsi ya kuwekeza moja na kupitia DSE Mobile Trading Platform Application inayopatikana kupitia guzi wa hisa kidigitali katika soko la hisa la Dar es Salaam DSE. Ununuzi wa hisa kidigitali ni njia ya kimapinduzi ya kununua na kuuza hisa kutoka soko la hisa la Dar es Salaam kupitia simu au kompyuta. Mfumo huu unaitwa DSE Mobile Trading Platform. DSE hisa kiganjani, ukikusudia kuongeza ufanisi na kurahisisha jinsi wawekezaji wanavyoweza kushiriki katika soko la hisa huku ukijibu ushirikishwaji wa jamii kifedha. Jinsi ya kuwekeza: moja ni kupitia DSE Mobile Trading Platform Application inayopatikana kupitia Google Play Store kwenye Android na App Store kwenye iPhone. 2 ni kwa kupiga *152*00 alama reli kwenye simu yako ya mkononi, kisha chagua 1 malipo, kisha chagua 5 DSE. 3 ni kwa kupitia tovuti ya DSE hisa kiganjani onlinetrading.dse.co.tz. Programu hii inafanya nini? 1. Programu hii inakuwezesha kutazama mwenendo wa soko. 2. Programu hii inakuwezesha kuingia au kufungua akaunti ya kuwekeza CDS. Na 3. Programu hii inamwezesha mwekezaji kununua na kuuza